And we are live. Welcome back, everybody.
Good evening, Mega City. It's a throwdown showdown in the woods. The Fallen versus these assholes. Who will win? Tonight on the Brockton Bay Book Club.
Woo.
So is our team the assholes?
Work.
Yeah, I
No,
thought the
Yeah,
Fallen
who are
were
the assholes in this scenario? Just
I mean,
villains?
if you, it's
Everybody.
interesting that
From Hollow
you
Point?
identified as, the asshole in that situation. I was just going to say that's the Hollow Point, people.
There's a
versus
lot
the
of people
Fallen.
here, okay? Look, it's not just Hollow Point. It's also our team. It's also some extra
Keep saying
people that
our
show up.
team, like us.
We don't
like
have
on
a
the
name
Brockton Bay-
yet.
We're the Brockton Bay Book Club.
No, not. Oh my god, not us.
I mean,
you
we're
goose.
all definitely assholes. That's
our
Wow.
Victoria's team.
Oh, the therapy
We
group.
don't have a name
yeah.
yet. That's what I'm saying. It's our team. Like, come on. It's us. It's Hollow Point. It's like other people. The Undersiders are also there. They're not all assholes.
Tonight I am
Only
drinking
some
what
of
I am
them.
affectionately referring to as a Love Lost. It is a dark plum cherry, I believe, juice mixed with Jameson. It tastes pretty good.
Have we already
Nice.
done that? Like a
No,
drink for
no,
each
we
cape?
haven't.
We
No.
posted
Okay.
We
that
haven't,
a
but we
long
should.
time ago.
We need
Back
to.
when we were allowed
We
to
do.
post in the
In the Reddit.
in the Wild Boat
In the
subreddit.
Yeah, we're not allowed to be there anymore. For some
Um,
reason.
No idea why. Yeah, they really don't like us. And then
If someone
but
knows
yeah,
why, please let us know.
yeah.
We'd love
so-
to go back there.
Yeah, I'd love to post there. I should ask the Tumblr.
I say
term
Tumblr
for-
likes us.
Yes, Brockton Bay Drink Club. We were actually pitching that idea around for some Patreon content that we all show up with our worm themed cocktails that we've
yeah.
mixed up, and
Mhm.
then maybe we have some patron submitted ones as well, and then we
There
do a
you
little
go.
That would be
taste
fun.
and taste.
That's a good idea.
I'm
See if it
I'm
works
currently
out.
drinking Dark Introspection, which is black
nice.
coffee with a little salt.
Solid.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Solid.
That's
Absolutely.
Who's the
good.
most boring person? Who's water?
Look, hydration is
Can't leave.
key, and water.
No,
is
not of us. Of in the worm universe, who can be
Oh.
who's water?
Yeah, I was thinking.
Oh, who's water? Mr. Gladly is
Yeah.
lukewarm
Mr.
tap
Gladly.
water.
There we go.
But
Ugh.
mine's cold.
Like lukewarm
water.
tap water from your grandparents' house, so it has
Oh,
like
no.
a taste
Like
to it.
out of the hose,
Some
kind
good
of.
minerals.
They didn't rinse out the glass first, so there's
Yeah, out
still
of the
like a little bit
hose.
left in there.
No.
Yeah.
Hose water.
Yep.
Oh man,
I love it.
In,
Red wine is Miss Yamada.
classy.
Yeah, simple.
You know,
simple.
Only
the
have a little bit left,
cheapest
but-
red wine to go with her pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
This is literally grocery store wine. Don't
Yep,
even.
that counts.
Are
fantastic.
you talking about my Stella Rosa?
I mean, yeah, it's still grocery store wine.
It's
not like
dessert wine, and it's amazing. It's the best wine.
it's also not
The best
super
thing you can get for
expensive.
$8
Let's
at
introduce
Walmart.
ourselves.
Hey,
But you know what?
who
Thank
the
you.
fuck are
so
we?
much.
Who
Yes.
are you?
Welcome. Good evening, those of you in chat. I know most of you are returners, but just so we get this for all of you newcomers, I am your host, Alan. Here we have Hannah.
Hi. Is
Jacob.
I?
Did you call me? I didn't hear you.
Yep, there we go,
Okay.
Jacob. Nick,
Hello there.
and of course our producer, Michael.
Hello, welcome everybody.
Michael, you can speak. There we go. Because we will have audio listeners too, not just
Yep.
Nah, right.
Okay.
True.
video
We
people.
I
always
always
do.
forget.
Indeed.
And we
Always
appreciate
do.
you, audio listeners, because
we do.
y'all are holding down the fort for our streaming sites.
I myself am an audio listener after the fact. So, for those of you who don't know, this is the Brockton Bay Book Club, where we go arc by arc, or sometimes part of an arc at a time through currently Ward by Wildbow, and we give our thoughts on the chapters. It is a book club that everybody else gets to participate in as well. As always, watch the spoilers in chat. TT's in chat if we get spoilers, so we can just edge that right out. And don't forget that if you do want to talk spoilers, there's a place to go talk about that in our Patreon Discord.
Hey.
For as little as $1 a month, you could be a patron and get exclusive content that we are currently working on more of, but also access to the Ward Spoilers channel. In that Spoilers channel, you can also submit for bingo every week. And there is a link in the description so we can play some bingo while you're listening along. And of course, we love our patrons and trying to come up with more Patreon content for you as we speak. The drink idea, I think, is a really good one. And
well, we're gonna do some games coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned to the end. We'll talk about that.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Yes, in a former life, we definitely did a drinking game. If anybody's played the Red Dragon Inn, where we came up with a list of drinks for every single drink in that game and its expanded universe. I imagine Leviathan as seawater would definitely fit in that disgusting category of.
It was a bad time. Just
bad
spoilers. It's a bad time to play Red Dragon Inn with
actual
drinks because we did use the Four Loko for something.
I think it was gnome.
Dirty
the gnome,
dishwater.
Dirty dishwater was
dirty dishwater was lemon water.
That's right. Well, your girl was so sick.
Hannah
I sat next to Michael during that game. It was a bad time.
I was trying to give her a lot of water. She's a big lightweight, and it was really cute. And she was very, very warm as well at the time. It was just a bad time for Hannah, but it was great for me.
I was just like dying.
I loved it.
We were on vacation and we chose to play at like 10:30 in the morning or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, it was like 10
First game of the morning.
I was crashed out, and then someone was
ruined the rest of the day.
Let's have an edible. And it just that whole day was a wash. It was a time. It was a time.
I had a great
anyway. Speaking of, it was a blast. I love how we all have our individual little drinky drinks that are going on here right now as well. Anyway, we are reading for this week. We have read second half of Arc 5. It was a long one, so we split it up. We read 5.7 to 5.Y to the end of the arc. It is about I believe it's like 53,000 words exactly, almost the exact same as the first half. And a lot goes on. So, opening thoughts on this, just overall vibes. What are you feeling?
Stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Thank God.
Oh,
it's great.
Literally,
that.
I can't remember who said it, but one of our patrons said it. I think it might have been, I don't know who it was. One of our patrons said it, that like at Arc 5, that's when things pick up. Like that's when they were like, oh, shit, I'm here for it now. I'm here for it now. Let's. Yeah. What a time.
Yeah, there were like 2 or 3 moments that would have been the moment of an arc, and I feel like we just breezed through.
Oh yeah.
All 3 of them. A lot happened. Yeah. Good time.
Yeah. There's so much going on in this one. It definitely is now. This feels more like Worm, right? Where so much is happening all at once. And that's great in the sense that I do feel like things are happening. I tried to take more specific notes on this arc, the second half of the arc, because I felt like there's just a lot and I don't want to miss the little things. There's so much in there that is worth bringing up and talking about that I like it. It's good. It was fun. The interludes were great here too. I really appreciated those.
Yeah, as always.
We'll get to those later. The fight between villains was so interesting. Twists, turns, betrayals. So many good moments. Surprises.
I think
it was good.
Yeah, for me, I think one thing that kind of finally clicked for Ward now is something that brought me into Wildbow's writing in Worm initially, especially early Worm. Later Worm, not so much, and then Ward, not really until this arc. But like the way Wildbow constructs fight scenes, we've talked about how great his action writing is in the past, and I think so much of what makes it great is he does a really good job of using action scenes as storytelling devices, not just, and now there's an action scene, but like, especially early Worm, all of the action moments progress the story or advance character or things like that. And he does that very well. And then like later Worm, not quite as much until we get to the end, of course. And then I think in Ward, I think that's really what was hampering some of those early conflicts for me, is that those fights just didn't feel impactful enough in the story. And now this one definitely did. Like this whole, obviously gave a ton of time for it, but like it felt like I was back in early Worm days where the action was really progressing, not just the story, but the characters themselves, which felt really good. It was like, oh yeah, that's I read like the last 4 chapters yesterday, just going through them. Oh, yep. It was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was good. It was one of those two where I ended up forgetting to read until just a few days ago. And so I picked it up though, but it was one of those where I was like, I just really want to keep reading and finding out what happens next. So that felt good. Well,
yeah. I'll be the contrarian. I actually did not, especially the last couple of chapters. I was not a fan. I kind of skimmed through the fights because I find them kind of boring.
Oh,
there he is.
There's
right on cue.
No account for class, you know.
And I
will say I really enjoy that stuff is happening though.
I mean, is that a box? That's got to be the free square on the bingo card, right?
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Alan hates everything.
With that, you know what? I will say, I don't remember Rain being this much of a badass.
Rain was holding his own.
The Rain
I will say, I got to that part and I was like, did I misread that? No, he didn't. He done did it. Boy's cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
And as a reminder, I don't read these, so I'm just neutral here. So I'm here completely on vibes. Yeah. I'm here to make sure this show.
Typically, we'll ask Michael. We might ask Michael to Google something or Alan to Google something.
Right. Here's
Alan's
the thing:
Michael isn't involved.
We've all got that dog in us, you know. and Michael is the dog whisperer. You know, he's got to keep us in line. Got to give us that little, make sure we're all behaving.
We all got the little bastard inside of us, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some of us got that Brutus. You know. All right. Yes, Angelica. All right. Well, let's get into this. 5.7.
Shall we?
Let's do it. So, 5.7. Hollow versus Fallen, with the heroes caught in the middle, periphery. In the midst of the reunion, they find out that guns are a thing now. And then a couple of notes from me, just a couple of scenes I wanted to highlight. Victoria at the coffee shop in costume at the beginning. I liked that scene. Victoria chats with Jasper and Gilpatrick, which was a nice little reunion scene. And then meeting up with the wardens, including Vista, who... Yeah. So all of these were like little highlights for me of like, this is what I like about it, getting to see these characters again. Also, we'll get into this in 5.8 more, but it is funny to me that 5.7 ends on, what's the shocking thing to get you to read 5.8? They have guns. It's like, wait a second.
This militia was a thing, right?
Well, I mean, she even mentions that. Like,
we'll get to that in 5.8. We'll get into that in 5.8, but it's like, so we'll save that for that section because that's one of the bigger parts of that. But it is a funny part. Like I read that and I was like, they were expecting a war. Of course they have guns. Like, also,
I know.
No offense to any of my fellow Southerners, but the Fallen are like the worst stereotype for rednecks. Of course they have guns.
Right. This almost feels like it was written by somebody who's not from the northern, North America, or like, we all have guns here, right? Like, when you come out in Texas, they give you a horsey ride and like a gun license. That's like the first thing they do when they slap you on the butt when you're born.
A horsey ride, a hat, and a
little 22.
An open, and a carry license. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Jesus.
I actually, on the way back home from work, I'm pretty sure I passed like 3 different signs advertising 3 different gun shows in the area. So.
Oh yeah. I did a quote the other day, and both the guy and his brother showed me around with like the gun just not even tucked in the belt, like in a clip outside of their pants.
Yeah.
I was like, ah,
Nice.
Welcome to the South.
Let's not forget, like Wildbow is
Yeah.
also very aware of this. He gave us is his name Colt, the Cape from Texas, who is a bullet.
Yeah.
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 Sure that isn't Young Buck.
Yeah.
Or Young Buck, thank
Young
you.
Buck.
Young Buck
Oh,
can
yeah.
like
you're right.
boom
Well, there's a
and
whole
hit people.
there's a whole section of like the southern capes
The
that all have
Texas
like
capes.
that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
all have that like aesthetic to them.
It's
Yeah,
great. I love
absolutely.
it.
You know, which
Anyways. Yeah, we'll get to the guns
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
more with 5.8 because Victoria has more thoughts there. But for 5.7, I like Victoria's I don't want to call it grandstanding, but it's kind of like
No,
showing off in a way of like, I'm a cape, I'm here, and her enjoying that in a bit. I think, or enjoying that a bit, right? Like we had Taylor who had the reputation of this warlord villain, but she never enjoyed it. She never like reveled in being that, and you know, probably for a good reason. I mean,
I
in
would
the sense of
argue
like for the
no,
common
but-
people, I think she used it. I think she used it, but to her advantage. But I don't think like walking into an area and seeing a bunch of people cringe at her was like something she enjoyed, right?
I mean, I think Taylor enjoyed it when she had a body double up and everyone like looked at the body double and then she like appeared out of the crowd from the other direction. I think she enjoyed
Oh, I
that.
mean, the
like,
shock and awe thing, yes. I
Yeah.
think generally though, when it came down to it, she was like, I want to help people, and I'm a villain, and
I'm
I don't like how that
scary.
works. You know, I'm scary, yeah. Whereas for Victoria, she's like, I'm a hero, and I want people to know I'm a hero. I
Mhm.
want to give people that comfort and that
You want
good
a
feeling of,
picture?
like, yeah, exactly.
Love
That guy's like,
I love it.
oh no, it's fine, and she's like, no, it's cool, and he's like, really? The girlfriend's like, ugh.
So good. And she does her little like hover off the ground with like she does her like little pose where she's got like
Yeah.
the 1 foot like slightly knee bent, like toe just barely kissing the ground. Like, oh my gosh. No, I totally love it. Like if that was me, if I had flying powers, that's how I would pose too. Like you can't be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you want a picture and then stay on the ground. Like, no.
What's
Yeah.
the
So good.
there's like a screenshot from like a cartoon or something where like somebody's holding up a picture of where they met somebody and they're standing next to them just like I can't think of what that's from.
Right.
that
But-
could be so many things. I don't know.
There's like a particular thing I'm thinking of where he's like, look, it's me and so. They're so happy to see me, and the person's like not happy, but they're like, I don't know. There's
Yeah,
some.
oh my gosh, I could totally
I've got this picture in my mind, but I can't remember what it'd be
We'll
from.
figure it
That's
out.
how I imagine that picture being taken.
Oh, I know. It's Mulan. It's Mulan.
It is. Yes, it's Mulan with what's his name in the Emperor.
Yes,
Yes.
he's like
Yes.
standing next
Oh
to the
my
Emperor, and he's got-
gosh.
with the big
Wow.
smile, and the Emperor's just
Yep.
like,
Yep.
See, yeah, see. Thank you, Hannah.
Love it.
Thank
Nice.
you.
I got you. I got you. I knew what you were talking
Thank
about.
you.
I was
Thank
like, it's
you.
either Emperor's New Groove. It's like one of those like Disney animated. I got you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ah.
It's Mulan. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
He's like shaking his hand and pointing at.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, that's great.
That's the vibe. That's the vibe, though. And like, I mean, it's just the nice. Like, if you ran into a nice celebrity at a coffee shop and you were like, "Can you sign this?" You know, and they're like, "Of course, yeah, absolutely." And they're chatting with you. Like, it gives off that celebrity vibe, which like, she's been the face hero first. Like, she was the face hero for so long. Like, it's easy for her to slip back into that role, which I think is cool. But I do like how the barista was like there's a lot of capes moving through here. Like, are you gonna be trouble for us? And she's like, nah, we're just moving through. Don't worry about that. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like they're all a little, the tension between capes and non-capes you can feel has like ratcheted up a little bit from
Yeah.
what it was in Worm, which
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I like a lot.
you don't know if they're a hero or a villain. Like,
Right. Like, and she's caped up. You have no idea. Caped
and
up.
her outfit. Yeah, she's all. Ooh.
Nice.
You know what I mean.
That's our starting our
You know,
new
her outfit is
podcast.
black and gold too.
Yeah, this is our new
Yeah.
podcast, Caped and Caked.
Caped and caked.
And caked.
Caping up and caked up.
Yep.
First topic, Narwhal.
Hey, now. She doesn't show up till...
Yeah, we'll come back to
know
that.
what chapter.
She's in this chapter, which is why this is my favorite chapter of our reading so far. Like Nick pointed out, it's a big reunion tour of all our favorite people, and
nice.
the mundanity of like taking a picture but floating, and
nearly everybody Alan has ever wanted to step on him is mentioned in this arc at some point.
Yeah, because I really
Narwhal,
was thinking about
Miss Militia.
okay, you know what? I was gonna say, like, I don't think I've had Jasper on my list of people I want.
Oh,
step
but
on,
Gilpatrick though.
Gilpatrick though. You mean Mr. Clean Mean Machine?
Oof.
Yep. Speaking of which, Victoria chats with Jasper and Gilpatrick. The teens are going to be helping with evacuees. Jasper did get his tattoo, but he wrote the word jester under it, not fool. So, good work there on correcting that at least.
Heck yeah. And here's the thing. He's like one of the senior people there. Like, he's telling them to call him Jesper, or him Jester.
Yeah.
How is that any different from a cape? Like the cape rolls up.
It's not.
And is like, hey.
I'm Jester. Like,
my name's Jester. We live in a world where capes are just a thing constantly. That's just what you call him. It's not that, like, it would not be that difficult for them to be like, okay, it's Goofy, but he's Jester.
It's like a cape. No, camp. It's like a camp nickname. Like when you're working at a summer camp. Like, oh yeah, who's that? Oh yeah, that's Smash. Like, no one knows who Smash is. Like, who the fuck is Smash? Oh yeah, no, that's just because we have two Hannahs working at the same camp, and that one's Smash and that one's Merida. Like, I love that shit. It like adds an extra level of like camaraderie to it, which is great.
We hear you, chat.
Are there having some stream lag issues?
Oh no. I'm not watching the stream today.
Not watching it either.
The
chat open.
It is lagging, and I did notice that.
Our poor sweet.
My computer says it's only
baby listeners
at 0.5% capacity, so it has to be just internet. My computer's fine. But
our poor sweet streamers.
Get better internet.
I can't. There's nothing to do. It's like two providers, and they both suck.
I mean, it can't be all on.
For those of you who don't know, Michael, while the rest of us are in Mega City, Michael is currently streaming from the Fallen Camp.
In the booties.
Yeah, live from the boonies.
From Earth.
I don't think I can
from Earth.
do anything right now.
Earth Quazon.
Let me see.
Yeah. He's deep in the Jewish alphabet on that. He's one of those back end letters.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Oh no.
What?
Is it pretty bad?
I just heard someone say that they might have to listen to the recording later because every other sentence is getting interrupted.
Oof.
Oh no. That's unfortunate.
Let me change some things and see if this helps.
All right, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
But chat, let us know if it gets any better. But yeah. Also, let's see. We got the tattoo. Narwhal appeared. Love Narwhal. And like you mentioned, Nick, Big V and Little V back at it again.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was
not so little anymore though.
That's right. And you know who I know carries a gun?
Oh, that's
little
true. Vista does carry a gun.
That's right.
Really?
Strapped for get clapped.
Yeah. I think ever since she got taken by Narwhal, right? She's been carrying a gun, is what she said.
Taken by Narwhal?
Not Narwhal. Echidna. Other animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we actually have it.
You know, the other very similar smooth skin animal with a weird nose.
Exactly.
Of all the capes,
yeah.
Like if you're adding a gun to an existing cape, Vista's one of the more dangerous ones. Like Vista with a gun is that's terrifying.
Like, sniper executed.
Yeah, now that we've seen how impressive her like basically portal making powers are as well, I just imagine, right? She just like does a quick like whoop, shoots them when they get real close, send them back far away, right? Just the whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She could. She doesn't, but she could, I imagine.
Yeah, she's got a lock on her. Like her
Vista,
powers used to be like a thing that like, hey Vista, we need you to do this, and all of a sudden like then she would use her power. This feels like she's just walking around using it now. Like
yeah,
Love it.
it's
yeah.
so nothing for her, and it's so much. She's like, I don't want that landscape there. That goes over here now, like just out of my way.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, she's 17
Very
now.
cool.
She's so grown up. Look at her, all grown up now.
Good for her.
Oh, so proud.
Glad
I
she
forget
survived.
how much time has passed.
I was gonna say because she and Vicky are the only surviving wards from
from that.
From
so, yeah,
Brockton
from that
Bay.
group.
Brockton
If you
Bay.
don't count
Well-
Weld, I guess Weld was there
Oh,
for a bit.
Yeah, if you don't count
Yeah,
Weld,
yeah,
and then
Weld.
also, isn't Shadowstalker still alive?
Shadowstalker's
don't-
still alive.
We don't
but
know. We don't know
think
for
it's
sure.
returned.
He was alive at the end of Worm.
Right.
Don't know if that kept up.
I would assume that she's alive, unless told otherwise. You know.
She
Oh, yeah.
thrived in
Still
a
alive.
world where everybody else was inhibited and she wasn't. If she walks into Hollow Point, somebody's beating her ass like right
Yeah.
away. Like she's gonna mouth
Well,
off, and she doesn't have
yeah.
the killing capacity that Damsel had.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
I've
But yeah,
lowered,
so
I've lowered the
this,
stream quality, just so everybody knows. I've lowered the stream quality, and it is now like all green, good bars, no frame droppage, should be clear.
Okay,
I was
cool.
streaming at too high a
very good.
resolution because that's what I record at typically, but the internet could not handle it.
Gotcha.
But this should be good now.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Chat,
Cool.
if y'all will let us know how that works out, if it's doing any better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Skipped over a small thing in 5.7 before we move on to 5.8. We do get to meet Kenzie's mom, who is very different from Kenzie's dad.
Yes.
We do.
And also gives kind of this creepy vibes, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, it helps Hannah's theory that they're robots. A lot.
I
So-
swear it's just so like
Yeah.
honestly my theory though has changed slightly after that because she's giving less robot but more just like uncanny valley-ness. Like it feels like okay. This is my sound. I'll be my own soundboard. It's fine. They are the tropes of themselves. So he's like the classic, dad trope. He's in real estate, right? Real
Right, yeah.
estate trope. She's the classic artsy mom trope. Like they like, oh, she's an artist. Well, I'm not an artist. I'm an aesthetic. Yeah, whatever she says.
An aesthete. Yes,
Yeah.
an appreciator of
Aesthetic.
beauty.
Yeah, like that's like such an artsy mom thing to say. Like they fit the tropes like they were programmed to. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't decide.
I'm kind of leaning a little bit away from the robot thing and more like, based on what we know about Kenzie's past now, I want to guess that her parents are being paid to take care of her. They are basically, she's a ward of the state, and they're being
Shit.
paid to take care of her
Yeah.
because of all the issues she's caused. Like they don't talk.
That's not bad.
I think if Kenzie had programmed them, I feel like they would be nicer to her.
Okay, actually though,
you make a
that's
good
a
point.
good point. That's a good point.
And I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility still that there's more going on with that, with AI and everything. But to me, they just strike me more as like taking care of this child as a job, not something I've been programmed
Not
to do.
as her parents.
not as
or
her
as
parents.
programmed. Yeah.
And she calls them mom and dad because she has attachment issues and has latched onto them as mom and dad, but they don't see her as their daughter, basically. Like, that's kind of the...
They're very quick. Like, I understand a lot of parents are very quick to, like, chauffeur their kids around for, like, sports and band and, like, whatever the fuck they're in. I feel like they chauffeur her around to, like, a too much degree. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm suspicious, is my point.
There's something else
suspicious.
going on, that's for sure. Definitely something else going on. Not 100% sure what it is. Yeah, I get the sense that she's like a ward of the state kind of person, or
something, yeah.
Or they're just all characters that one other mastermind has created, and we haven't met that person yet, right? They're all just different entities this one other person has made. Because we've talked about that before too. Like, is Kenzie even Kenzie? Oops, sorry.
Oh my god, that's right. I mean, I always assumed that Kenzie was Kenzie because Kenzie made Kenzie, not because there's another mastermind that made Kenzie, you know? Like, I always assumed it was Kenzie made Kenzie. Like, Kenzie made Kenzie how Kenzie wants Kenzie to appear.
Sure.
Right.
Said, hey, I can see Michael squinting. I'm like, shit, fuck, I'm losing him. I'm losing him.
No, you.
How many times can you say Kenzie in a single
sentence? I was about to say that's a woodchuck situation. What you just said.
That is exactly, yeah.
Jacob, what do you?
How
think?
much Kenzie could Kenzie if Kenzie
Jacob's theory?
Kenzie?
I need to know.
I mean, I like the robots, but I mean, her projections are crazy, so something's going on with that too. Like the couple scenes where she's like people have thought it was her, but then she changed, you know, it's a projection and she turns it off. Or even later in this scene when projection's really good and she's with the group and everything like that. Like they're scary good.
They're scary
I have
good.
a feeling if we haven't seen the extent of that yet, there's going to be something's going to happen.
And we see the camo power that we see the camo power that she made for Chris, where he can basically it's like it reminded me exactly of the power up in Halo, where it just like turns you mostly invisible, just like with a slight warble to it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the way they talk about it being a disc kind of reminds me of the weird technology from Five Nights at Freddy's. If you remember the little discs that like do things.
Yep.
Forgot about that.
Also, my weird theory with this is that these aren't Kenzie's parents. Like, Kenzie's parents died a long time ago, and that these are recreations of them as best as she remembers, but they weren't great then, and these are like, she hasn't really like improved upon these models. She just like quickly put together what she remembered, which is why they're kind of bland. She's like, I had parents, and it's like, what did you know about them? Did they have personalities? And she was like, Dad
was Dad.
He was
Dad was a real estate agent.
He was a real estate agent.
Yeah, exactly. Personality, real estate agent.
I feel like we got it's so interesting. Much.
He was an
We'll see. We'll see though. Victoria got invited for dinner, so maybe we'll see what happens.
I know
that could be problematic. I mean, I'm excited. Let's go to dinner, but I also feel like this could be more of a problem. You know,
like my first thought was like, did you clear that with other people before you go? Because we know how Kenzie is, and maybe you want to talk to like somebody else and be like, oh, I gotta cancel.
That seemed weird.
Was this the scene where Chris has his first of many in these next few chapters MVP moments, where he walks over to Kenzie and she's yapping, and he just
he picks her hand up and puts the donut.
And he stuffs the donut in her mouth, and she keeps talking around the donut. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That was a great.
Cracked me up.
That made me like Chris more. That made me like Chris a lot more. Of just as she's talking, just grabbing the donut.
Just.
Chris has a couple.
Yeah, and so I was thinking maybe you could come over to dinner. Do you like pasta? And they're like, it's so good. It's so good. Although, one more thing about the dinner. Her mom, supposedly, you know, if she's human and everything's kosher, allegedly her mom, would know that Kenzie has weird attachment stuff. So why was she so quick to invite Victoria to dinner? Knowing attachment stuff. Like, there are rules in place for a reason around
Mhm.
Kenzie, right? So like, wouldn't one of them be having people over to the house, which is like a big deal? You're not just like out in the field, you're not just coworkers anymore. Now you've been invited into the home space. Like that's got to be some kind of a rule. And like it's weird that the mom
Yeah.
like wouldn't
That
realize
is a bit
the
weird.
weight of that decision.
Yeah.
But it could also be still with the sort of caretaker theory I'm running with. If for whatever reason Victoria is the person that Kinsey seems to be becoming the most attached to, I could see them being like, we need to meet this Victoria, get to know her.
Mm.
You know, kind of
That's
like a
very
meet boyfriend
parental of
kind of
them,
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
you know? And if that's
Um,
the case, then great.
yeah,
They're being parental. But
yeah. I did like Beefaroni commented, watch, Kinsey's parents are gonna be normal people and y'all are just mean.
I
Listen, here's the
mean,
thing. Here's the thing. No parents are normal. As a parent, I can say that. I Parents aren't normal. Even if they are just regular humans and not robots or paid wardens of the state, it doesn't matter. They're not acting
Yeah.
like normal people. I
That's
did
true.
like though Victoria when Kinsey's mom was like, "Oh, I do like uh your costume, Victoria." And Victoria's like, she noticed. I got the approval from the SP
I've been
to
talking about about everybody's outfits, and finally somebody else
someone
understands.
understands.
Gosh,
Oh, I love it.
the whole dinner is just gonna be her, and if they are normal people, it's just gonna be her and Kinsey's mom just like crapping all over everybody else's style and costumes and
And they're just wine drunk. Just oh my god, did you see so and so when they started wearing this outfit? Oh my god, I was like, what bitch? What do you think those colors are? I know your power isn't making them work.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
There we go. On to 5.8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. 5.8, a bunch of backwoods yokels show how dangerous they can be. Victoria has some thoughts on the game. Then Vicky tangles with the biker gang member and then powered members of the bikers. And then some anti-thinkers measures from presumably Mama Mathers starts to make some of them go cuckoo.
mhm.
So, okay, so here we talk about the game, right?
Yeah.
So Victoria's talked about it, Tattletale's talked about it previously in Worm. The idea is sort of the cat and mouse game that the heroes and villains play. And what Victoria is trying to explain, I feel like this whole inner monologue is Wildbow just saying, here's why guns matter in this moment, right? Like, I want you to understand why this is important. Because I think immediately we all would have the same reason. We all would just have the same thoughts, like everybody would. Like, wait, like they have deadly superpowers. Why do guns matter? And also Miss Militia is a thing, so she gets brought up specifically. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the justifications for it? Of like, okay, guns do exist, yes. However, there's sort of an agreement of like non-lethal most of the time. We're just trying to capture each other. We're not trying to kill each other. And now it feels like this is all okay. All hell's broken loose, and we're just trying to kill each other now. I don't know. What did you guys think of that justification? It kind of felt a little weak to me, but maybe that's the whole point, right? Is the veneer of the game is so weak that it's easily broken.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think we praise Wildbow a lot for his ability to explain away tropes that we take for granted so often with these types of genres, and I think this is an example of that. But it is one. It's weird how this one I feel probably just doesn't need explanation. It's I know we say that about all of them, but like specifically, this is one of those suspension of disbelief things that you kind of have to have for superhero genres. Like you start digging too deep into any of this stuff, and it just sort of it kind of midichlorians the magic of the the setting, stuff like that. So I think
Got
it's
that reference.
interesting. I think it's a fine explanation in universe. I think it works. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I do think it was like we didn't have to You could just said they had guns, and it's okay. They have guns. They mean business. They're gonna kill you.
Yeah, I think it just feels like probably what happened is he wrote 5.7 and like ended on the guns thing, and then was like, oh, I made that seem like a big deal. Probably need to explain why it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I mean, I think so, but like this is something we've talked about with Worm about Coil Sniper. Like, oh yeah, just get Coil Sniper in there, and that solved the problem real quick. And that's because it's true. And like with the gun thing, like I get what she's saying, but I agree. Like we don't necessarily need a big explanation, but I do really like it. I think it's fun because of the whole concept of the game, the cat and mouse, which I find super fascinating. Like I loved that whole initial conversation that we had with Taylor and Lisa back in Worm with Tattletale. This kind of like breaking down of like we all have powers here. We can all absolutely brutally murder each other quite easily if we wanted to. But it's not in the game for us to do that. The people who do that are like Slaughterhouse 9. Like those are the people that do that. We're not like them. And so the idea of like, well, we don't use guns here, it's like having the guns in this scenario feels like another reason to just fuck the Fallen. Like absolutely take them out because they're breaking the unspoken rules of the game. And you know that they're not just pulling in other parts of the gang. They're not just pulling in the bikers. They're not just pulling in more capes. They've got guns now. And it's like, you've taken this to a level where like, sure, someone might have powers, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're bulletproof. Like someone like Kenzie, Chris, literally everyone on the team would take a bullet other than Victoria. And that's if her wretch is down. But like,
she can only take 2.
Right. She can only, yeah, exactly. So like, it's this idea that like, you're not playing fair, which puts this certain kind of like almost like whimsicalness to it all, because it makes it feel like we're all just having fun. Like when Victoria hurts Moose, it's this play acting. It feels like it's, you know, it's for the game. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scar you. It's like, well, I made my mother cry. Like it's kind of funny, and like but like this is not funny anymore. Like you've broken the rules that we've all agreed to. And you've broken the truce, as it were. Not truce. What's the word? What's the word Victoria uses? Does anyone remember?
Charade?
No, like it's not like the treaty. It's
The
like
veneer?
no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like this
The
idea that
agreement.
like they've stepped, they've broken the agreement. They've stepped too far. You know, you've you know, we don't necessarily have to be nice to you anymore. Where before we might have.
2 things that it makes me think of is, number one, in this world, they probably didn't have the North Hollywood shootout, which for those of you who don't know is 2 guys with self-made like full body armor, bulletproof, rob a bank, I believe. And then, you know, because they're in full body armor, they just walk out and the cops show up. And at this time, police kind of just have pistols. So they're shooting at them, and it's not doing anything because these guys are just walking in full body armor, and you know they're spraying the cops with semi-automatics and stuff like that. And it was a moment that was, you know, we've had bank robberies before, we've had, you know, bank robberies with semi-automatics before, but the fact that these guys were just such a, you know, this kind of truce-breaking incident is what led to armored cars for cops, body armor for cops, and higher caliber like weapons, and more powerful weapons for cops, because of that shootout. And like if they didn't have that incident, it makes me wonder. And because we have heroes, like it makes me wonder if you really don't have as much armed like enforcement as you would otherwise.
Yeah, true.
And on top of that, it makes me wonder how much 2 things. Number one, we talked about this a little bit before in our Worm read through. What is the sports like in this universe? We know they exist, but To what degree? And what is war like in this universe? Because if there's two things I've noticed in this world, back on Earth Bet, in Worm, it's that we really didn't talk about war all that much. And I think that's because it just doesn't happen. I think if anything does happen, it like, I just don't think it happens.
It seems like sort of with war in particular, you had a couple of mentions of like Ash Beast and Mordnog in Africa sort of being warlords who've taken over multiple countries. But beyond that, it does feel like it is sort of the Ozymandias and Watchmen thing, right? Where sorry to spoil Watchmen, if you haven't seen or read Watchmen, but you should read it anyway. Spoiler aside, where like there's about to be a nuclear war, so he fabricates a unified threat that the entire Earth has to come together to fight. And as a result, it stops the war. And for the Worm universe, the Endbringers kind of feel like that, right? Where it's like, okay, like we're going to have squabbles, we're going to have land disputes, we're going to have teams and villains and heroes fighting each other. But ultimately, we have bigger problems that we have to be aware of.
Right.
And it kind of
can't
feels
afford
like
infighting.
We can't afford having a nuclear war when Behemoth is going to come because of it and then destroy the entire continent of Europe, you know? Like, we can't afford that. And everybody knows that. Point.
Yeah, I was just to build off of that, especially because of the Endbringers, right? So they're drawn to conflict. We don't know about all of the early Endbringer attacks, but it's like, it makes sense that they would have shown up to, at the time, you know, these border disputes and conflicts and things like that. Like, imagine two nations are about to go to war and like Behemoth just pops up in the middle and kills everything. You're going to quickly stop going to war. So that's interesting. It's a good point.
Yeah.
So the Endbringers are good, actually.
Yeah.
As Not So Certain says, you know, it's kind of a pro-con thing. It's like, pro, stops war. Lots of people saved. Sure. Con, Endbringers kill a lot of people. Kind of evens out, probably.
Really kill a lot of people.
What Taylor said was Earth Left got 9/11 and Earth Bet got the Endbringers.
Right.
But also in terms of that thing, back to the sports thing, I've heard, you know, some theories, idea that like essentially World Cup soccer, all these sports we have, that they are a bloodletting of sort, that like throughout all of human history, conflict is way more, you know, constantly happening, and we're losing so many people all the time. And it's like the same time that we actually get like sports franchises going, like really going, is also the same time that like most of the like world wars and all these major conflicts kind of calm down a lot. You know, obviously there's tons of other reasons, but the idea of like, we've got enough mini battles that we would have had, except now they're played on sports fields, and they kind of relieve that aggressive need that humans have to just be in conflict with one another. And I think about that in terms of like, if we have the game of heroes and villains going after each other, and people obviously are filming that on phones and they're watching that, and you keep up with your local hero team, and you even keep up with your local villain team, you know, Uber and Leader people you're watching. It kind of lets out that weird, like I said, it's a bloodletting, you know.
I was gonna say it's just the gladiators but modern day.
It's the gladiators but modern day. And I really wonder if on Earth Bet, at least, because they have all those heroes, the best like sports franchises kind of do is like a semi-pro thing. Like, they're there, but they're not nearly as popular because people have the hero franchise, and that's like people's main like investiture of violence that they let out on.
All the money's definitely going to the pro stuff for sure. No one's paying. No one's paying to watch me play when you can watch somebody.
Why would you want to watch the best a human could do.
Exactly.
Running their the 4x100 when you could watch,
Exactly.
you watch the speedster just blaze.
Yeah, book it.
I do think one funny comparison. Bernard mentions how they have like hero franchises and like sponsor deals and stuff too. There's one I didn't read a bunch of it, but I read a bit of the manga Tiger and Bunny, which is in a universe with superheroes, and they all have sponsors, and they're all like they wear outfits with sponsors on them like race car drivers do, and it's all like, oh, there's been a bank robbery. Who can get there first? And they've got like rankings and like, you get points based on how much you help and like what you do to save civilians. And, so it's kind of that, there's kind of that like funny, it's much sillier than Worm is. So it wouldn't quite fit in Worm, but it would be funny if, there was a sort of thing like a hero who was like, this arrest sponsored by Heinz ketchup.
Legend, where are you gonna go after
you like
to arrest
people?
villain?
Get Skillshare. Use my code. Uber123 and get 15% off.
Uber123. Uber
Thank
10.
goodness I didn't have the
Uber
sun
10.
in my eyes when I was arresting that villain, and that's because of Ray-Bans.
Ray-Bans. I knew it. Oh, that's so
sponsored by me, Raymancer. Raymancer and Ray.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, as Fran said, Uber and Leet were doing that shit before Twitch was a thing. They were ahead of their time. That's true. That's true.
I love that.
I just
love
imagine
so
they're
much.
like Uber's like punching a guy in the background and Leet's in the foreground like, hey, Dog22, thanks for the 10-month sub. So like beating a guy for his wallet.
50. That's a tier 3 sub right there. That's another punch. We're gonna keep going until the subs run out.
Oh no.
Oh man.
It's fantastic.
Oh,
Looks
God.
like these bad guys won't be cooking up anything, but I will with HelloFresh, today's sponsor. I love it.
Keep
Way
going
too much
for
fun
it.
coming up with taglines. Holy shit. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what we should do until we get real
Um,
sponsors. It's just
There
it's
you go.
just-
For
it's just Cape sponsorships.
Yeah. For the rest of 5.8, we have Victoria tangling with that one biker gang member who she leaves
In the
on a
tree!
which is hilarious.
Right.
But then she runs into 3 powered members. He got a couple of breakers, a couple of a breaker, a changer, and I think just a guy. I think actually it's like a breaker, a changer, and a guy.
Dude.
Dude with a gun.
And then so then we've heard that there's anti-thinker powers at play here, most likely from Mama Mathers trying to protect the fallen. However, we see it happen where when Victoria tries to press one of the biker gang members for more information, she starts to convulse and scream in pain, and they're like, should we like knock her out? Like, what do we do? Which I do appreciate. Somebody mentions, I think it's in this, somebody mentions like, knocking somebody out's not as easy as the movies make it seem. Like, there's a fine line between, putting somebody to sleep and permanent brain damage.
Yeah.
And so Victoria's like, I'll just choke him then. I'll just go for the choking.
That is also still like
still brain damage. You're cutting off their
one,
oxygen supply.
You put that hold because she gets back and does a little rear naked choke, and it's like, yeah, that's gonna make him fall asleep if done like well for like a couple of seconds. And if you lock that in that he's more than a couple of seconds, you're depriving a decent amount of oxygen to the brain.
Yeah.
Like,
Although I did want to say though, so I forgot something else with the whole game thing and the guns thing, right? Where it's like, Batman's whole thing about like not killing people. It's like, I don't kill people. I just maim them horribly and leave them in the hospital with pain for the rest of their life.
Flights of stairs. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
oh, I think we've mentioned before that there's a maybe Vertigo or Dark Horse comic or Image that is just the worst version of Batman. I think his name's like Nighthawk or Bloodhawk, and his whole thing is he does the whole Batman shtick, except every single bad guy he banes them. He breaks every single bad guy's back so that they cannot walk.
Oh my gosh.
I don't kill them. I kill them financially from the hospital bills.
From the medical bills. Jesus. God, that's work. Just put me down at that point.
Yeah,
Jeez
that-
Louise.
Really.
It's just like some random guy's like, oh, I only took this job because I'm poor and I need to feed my daughter. Oh God, Batman, no!
Pretty sure that's a college humor bit.
Yeah.
Oh no! Just
Probably.
the poor mooks that accidentally end up on
Yeah.
the wrong side
It's
of
their first
scary
day on the
Batman.
job. They didn't really
Yeah.
realize what they're doing. Oh,
They didn't read the
gosh.
fine print. They're from out of town.
Right.
They didn't know that this
Yeah.
cape existed
It's like-
here.
Uh,
Also, we
Yeah.
should probably keep it running.
Yeah.
We're an hour in
We
and we're
should.
barely into
Alright.
two.
Too much fun.
5.9. We are.
5.9.
5.9, as team therapy tries to evacuate and protect uncooperative fallen families, they inevitably get drawn into the skirmish. A couple of scenes from this I wanted to recall. The cranky old lady makes a couple of interesting statements. My favorite was, many of these people do not deserve to be saved. As they're talking about like being vigilant over the little things, I thought that was interesting. And I think that was one of the preacher ladies maybe from a previous chapter,
I
but I
think
could be
so.
wrong. I think
think
it
so.
was.
Interesting.
It
Um,
sounded like at first I thought it was supposed to be that
Yeah.
one lady who was like always trying to get you're talking about how everybody needed to be fucking and having kids. But then I
Yeah.
remembered like the way she talked sounded like she was just a cranky old lady who was like on the right side of stuff.
Yeah,
Because she's clearly
this
like,
lady
these
seemed
people
different.
are all assholes. I hate
Yeah,
them.
this lady
And
seemed a
that's
bit
why
different.
I'm so cranky, is because they're all crazy cultists, and I just got stuck here in this house because I'm an old lady, and like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they say
We'll get
her
to that in a
name.
second.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
do
sorry.
they? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. A couple more notes. A couple of interesting fallen villains who go unnamed. We have the Dark Smoke and Lightning guy, who is apparently able to hold pretty much everybody off on a road just on his own. His power seems... I think, I imagine he's like a cloud, except, like those lamps you touch and there's like lightning everywhere. He's like that.
Mm-mm.
But in a cloud. And then there's a hooded girl who's guarding him, who we don't see much
Mhm.
of either, but don't get her name. Victoria and the team help the Hollow Point people, only for the Hollow Point people to then debate turning on Victoria and her team. So we sort of get a reverse of the Amy conversation that we had in Worm. And then we get to see Dark Introspection, one of Chris's forms, which I think is my favorite because it sounds really funny.
Yeah.
It's great.
Banana
Yeah.
bird.
Okay, so let's talk about the cranky old lady. Is she
Yeah.
who we think she is, or is she somebody else?
I don't know. I know they said her name in this chapter, and I know that we had her name. We had the name of the preacher lady from earlier. I just don't know if they're the same name. So either someone needs to look, or actually, you know what? I can look
Yeah.
it up. We're gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed when we were reading it that it was the same person, which was interesting to me because if it is the same person, I mean, it might not be, but if it was, she's like clearly figured out the formula of how to stay okay.
Yes.
But when faced with a normal person, is like, no, these people are bad shit. Which is really interesting to me because this idea of like, well, if you're in a cult that you clearly cannot leave from, considering Mama Mathers is looking over your shoulder, you have to do what you have to do to survive. And it feels like if it is the same woman, that she's figured out the formula of the right thing to say to get in front of a crowd of people and to like talk, and either people like her or they don't. And it's like, whether she believes it even or not, like she knows the formula. So
Yeah, maybe.
she speaks the rhetoric. And
I was
like
thinking it was for
that's
some
the vibe
reason
I
too,
got.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was the same woman or not. Because there's clearly like oh gosh, what's the mom with the kids? What's her name? Who's helping Victoria?
No, I don't.
She basically
remember.
says to skip the house. She's like, don't
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
go
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because she's like, oh,
That
that
makes me
lady
think
won't leave.
That makes me think it's not her. In a way.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Fran, to answer your question, Fran, of who do we think she is, there was a Rain interlude where he overheard a lady preacher,
Yeah.
and we were wondering if this cranky old lady is the same that they rescue in 5, is the same as that lady preacher from a previous interlude.
It also
I don't know
makes
if
me
there's a way to
wonder
get
if that preacher lady is the same as that cranky lady who always used to give him shit when he was walking to school.
Interesting.
Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of cranky females in the Fallen camp.
Listen.
I mean, listen, when you're forced to marry people when you're like, what,
I would say,
11?
look,
Yeah.
none of them are having
You're forced
orgasms
into a
there, so
cult.
right now.
You get a little crotchety in your old age, okay?
If you get to your old age.
I mean,
yeah,
the incest childbirth hasn't killed you first.
I literally like full body shiver. It's just
with how excited you were.
I hate you.
Don't you mean amazing?
Astounding.
Yeah, you do.
Shut up. Oh god, it's so gross.
If anybody knows what song reference that is, I'd love to see it in chat.
I do not know.
Really?
Anyways, yeah, so we get a bit more of the fight scene, kind of a difficult fight scene for the heroes. And yeah, we have some weird powers here. I did think the reverse of the Amy conversation was kind of funny, because what it basically boiled down to is Bob is like, why should we work with you guys? You're good guys. And we're like, Bob, please. Come on.
Please.
Bob, please. Like, we can...
Bob, let's not be childish.
And he's like, I don't know. You guys are good guys. I don't trust you.
Turns out he's fugly on the inside, this Bob.
No. Well, yeah, we'll get to that too.
Yeah, and then we get to see dark introspection as well. What were you going to say, Michael?
I was just going to say not so certain agrees with Alan that it's the same cranky walking lady. But who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, dark introspection.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reverse
twisty black chicken with 4 legs.
Yeah.
It's like a backwards banana?
Yeah,
that's it.
But also,
I imagine it's kind of shaped like a skunk, almost like how it's like bowed up.
Yeah,
with skunks have the tail and the kind of like, but then it later on it essentially curls in.
Can I look up a picture? Is that going to be?
No, I didn't want to.
I would not look up a picture.
Yeah.
As someone who didn't read this is the weirdest thing I've ever trying to understand in my brain.
So it's like a crow raven thing with like these black feathers. And it's like 4 wings.
I looked up a non-spoiler picture. That's kind of interesting. It's not quite what I imagined, but no, that's interesting. Yeah.
Someone give me a picture, please, because I don't want to be spoiled anything. But
I'll post it in our general chat.
I need a visual.
It's not a spoiler, but yeah, it's a weird. I can see the reverse, sort of the inverted banana thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wait.
Very weird.
Okay.
I posted it in general in our private general chat. Yeah, it's a weird curled up chicken thing.
Yeah, curled up, inner banana thing. Look, here's the thing.
The bananagram.
The banana spiral. I mean, I love it. I think it's great.
No, I mean, and it's fantastic. And it's like, I couldn't quite get the power behind it, but it sounded like he could give commands to his body separate from his mind or something like that.
Yeah,
that's generally his power. It sounds like, right?
Oh, is that for like all forms?
Oh, I thought that was
that's for like
this
most
one
of them.
Specifically. Is that this one he has this form because it's a separation of mind, like the mind and the body are 2 separate things for this.
Oh, maybe.
One. So he can literally like let it autopilot and it'll go on pure instinct and do its thing, and he can just like ride it around inside of the head. Kind of.
Yeah.
Chris.
Okay, interesting.
Wild.
Yeah.
Does he have a cape name?
What?
Am I stupid? Does Chris have a cape name?
Nope.
He just has all these different like names for the different things he can become.
Okay. We need to give him a name.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's Chris until
proven otherwise.
I mean, hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, can you take someone else's name?
Beast of Burden. Well, maybe now you can after 5.10.
All I'm saying is
Right.
maybe we call him Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah. The Pokemon.
Gotta catch him.
Or you know what we should call Chris would be the Pokedex, and each of these are Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe we could be something like Pokedextrous. I'm trying to give him something else.
Freaky
boy.
Fran says freak boy. I love it.
Hey, freak boy.
Hey, freak boy.
Freak boy.
Look,
Come over here and freak. No, don't say that.
Oh, the child.
No, can't say that. Take it back.
No. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, 5.9 is one of those. I will say I agree with you in this point, Alan. Where like 5.9, the fighting does kind of glaze over, it kind of like starts to glaze over for me in the sense of like there's so much happening, so many people are moving, and it's just like, oh, okay, they beat the lightning guy, and that's all we need to know. Basically, what happens for that fight? Beat up on some bikers, and that's it. All right.
Oh yeah.
5.10. Valifor appears and wreaks havoc on the attackers.
Jesus.
Victoria has a bad flashback, and people find different workarounds for Valifor's hypnosis. Vicky is able to drop him on a faraway roof. Bob uses his leadership position to put pressure on Damsel, who promptly kills him.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a packed chapter.
Yes.
Okay, so
one thing at a time.
Did Taylor accidentally make Valifor stronger?
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Not really though, because it's still like he's still strong. I mean, old Valifor was on site, was instant, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like
But
he's still
this is-
strong.
But like with Valifor, we were talking about ways to get around. Like, don't look directly at him. Look down.
Yeah.
Don't get, whatever. You can't plug your ears in the middle of a battle.
Yeah.
I feel like Valifor.
What was
powers
interesting though, is it seems like maybe if you're mentally strong enough, you can just ignore it if he's not giving you a direct command, because
Right.
Victoria eventually kind of figures out his hypnosis is based on you believing that he's talking to you, which is a really weird quirk of it. It's this very interesting thing, and I'm kind of joking that he's stronger because obviously he is literally blind and people have to guide him around. I think that is a big weakness, even so. But still though, like just the ability to stand in a large enough area and go, everybody stop, and everybody listens to you.
Everybody clap your hands.
Yeah. One hop this time.
Right.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of
Otto's irresistible dance on the whole crowd.
Love it.
Right.
Put your knees on
lot
your
of lot of
elbows.
similarities to the Purple Man from season 1 of Jessica Jones, which exact same power essentially, which is fantastic. If anyone needs a little superhero kick show, season 1 of Jessica stands alone. It's fantastic.
It's pretty good.
And and that's the power. So it's like just that instant ability to control people's actions, and it's not like especially because the way Victoria describes it, it's not like he's controlling them, but they're just doing what he says.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unwillingly.
Yeah.
You know.
They're compelled to do what he says until either acted upon by their own thoughts or some other force kind of pushing them out of the hypnosis mode.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, Valifor does seem to need to retain some level of control over the chaos for it to work, right? Like if things get a bit too crazy, then maybe he's not able to control or to stop everything that he wants. Obviously, like general commands, got to maintain that concentration. Like general commands, like no powers, right? That applies to everybody in the area, not just, So then, but what's it? That gets into the whole mental thing where he's like, Fallen, you can use your powers. And then, if you're not fallen, you wouldn't think he was talking to you, so it doesn't apply to you. Those little like psychological tweaks are very interesting to me for powers, and I really like that. There's one Brandon Sanderson novel actually it's a superhero novel when he did a foray into that. I haven't read the whole series, but one of the villains, he is invincible to anyone who's afraid of him. And because he has like kind of a Superman suite of powers, nobody's not afraid of him, basically, is the idea. Is like, but that would be his weakness, right? Is if for somehow you did not feel fear towards him, you could harm him. But otherwise, if you have any sort of fear, any sort of intimidation when you're around him, can't touch him, can't hurt him. And I kind of like that psychological tweak on powers with Valifor here, where it's like, okay, instead of eye contact, it's you believe he's talking to you. And it's hard not to believe he's talking to you most of the time.
Oh, cool.
I like it.
Cool.
Very cool.
Taylor didn't go far enough?
No. Yeah. Maggots ate out his eyes, but it wasn't enough.
To get in with talking about the second trigger, I don't think Valifor had a second trigger here. We talk about how cool it is that these powers do actually have personality and some sort of agency, as it were. They're dynamic. They change over time. Characters don't just find new abilities. They grow with their powers to develop them. And in this case, the power wants to be used. When he loses his ability to use it, the power is going to just transfer and figure it out. Hannah and I were actually discussing, like, how would that work for other heroes? If you're Legend, or, Legend, we'll go with Legend. Somebody who your main power is laser blasting. But you do it out of your hands, repulsive beam style. But all of a sudden somebody comes and chops off your arms. Where would the power go? Like, is it now that you have Cyclops powers eventually? Like that you can fire them out of your eyes? Or is it like a yelling beam power? Or is it just in air you have to, because I love the trauma, you have to remember that there's a hand out there, or imagine that there's a hand out there, and that it shoots laser beams out of it. But to everybody else, it's just a laser firing out of the air.
I'm just imagining an armless Legend, like spinning in the air like a top, shooting lasers in a circle. Like out of his tubs.
Oh, Nick!
Gosh. I love it.
It's funny though.
Yeah.
I with the way that
sure.
your powers so much adapt to you, like with the conversation Alan and I had earlier a couple days ago, talking, my thought was like with Victoria's power, like the wretch, her force field reshaped itself to who she was and who she saw herself as. And even though now she's back to human form, her wretch form is still, out here with all the arms and the elbows and the faces, because she still sees herself, part of her sees herself as the wretch still. She doesn't see herself back to, human normal, I'll even say, but like normal is just a setting on the dryer. Like part of her still sees herself as the wretch, and therefore the wretch as the force field still exists in that capacity. And like thinking about it in the sense of like so much of your power is attached to how you view yourself, how you see your own power, how you interact with it. And that's so interesting to me, because you can have Valifor, who literally lost his eyes, and still have that same power, but it's just like it's morphed into who he is now.
Yeah.
And like that idea of an exchange, that your power isn't just something that happened to you. It's almost like it's a parasite in you, that like your parasite and you are working together in order to, like Alan said, because the parasite wants to do shit. Like your power is like, let me go, let me at him. And so it's going to find a way and work with
Yeah,
what we've
of
got,
course.
which is just, oh, it's so good. It's one of those things that Wildbow does where it's like, it's the whole work yourself into a corner thing. Like, he does so good at just when you think like, oh, Valifor's not a threat, because we saw him before in Rain's interlude. We're like, oh shit. We see him again, and we're like, fuck. God damn it. Just when we thought we dealt with Valifor,
He's gotten worse.
he's gotten worse.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's interesting. As Bernard says, it's kind of similar to Canary. Yeah, very similar power now to what Canary kind of had.
Fran completely agreed with you, Hannah. Said the force field thing as well.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Thanks, Fran.
According to Beefaroni, it's fun fact legend can shoot lasers out of any part of his body. So now I'm just imagining
over and spreads them.
No, no, stop it.
It's just legend riding a laser like a rainbow. Just like
no.
He doesn't need it to fly. He chooses to, though.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Along those lines of like crazy stuff for Taylor with her bugs, I posed it before, but doubly so now. I wonder if Taylor leaning more into the like less direct modes, if she was the kind of person who would sit in a room and like just let the bugs go wild, like doing everything through them and not, doing anything physically herself.
Mm-hmm.
If eventually you could kill her human body and still like the power transfer essentially into the swarm as like she just becomes a sentient swarm of insects.
Right.
Like depending on how long the power went and how like less and less she kind of like somebody talks to her like in person and she like, oh, that's right, I'm a human, like I'm not 500
maybe if like
bugs.
Maybe if
I'm not 1 million ants.
I was waiting for it.
Not 1 million ants.
Yeah. Maybe if she had been like made like bedridden, catatonic kind of person after the trauma she went through, I could see that happening for sure. Where like she is the swarm basically. Issue is the lifespan of most bugs, very short. Swarm, not very long lived. She's like, I just imagine it's like a swarm of mayflies, and she's like, I'm the swarm. Oh no.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, crazy scenes there, which I do love though, the revelation of limited information, right? Apparently it wasn't big news that Valifor's eyes got eaten by bugs. I don't know why that wasn't big news. I feel like that would have been talked about, but maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, how quickly after that incident did the world explode?
Yeah, true.
And they just got him back to a fallen camp and then just didn't talk about it. So
I was not saying he was fallen
which is fair,
too.
Which is fair. He was fallen, yeah.
And as we probably know, is Mama Mathers is not a like massively expansionistic. Like the other ones are assholes that ride around town, and she's one of the ones that's like
keep people close.
Keep people close, consolidate kind of type.
Yeah.
Secret.
So we got that. Yeah, so it's fun to see them be like operating on that old information when we know that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like, which kind of was a nice, like, okay, so what's really going on? Why is Valifor here if he doesn't dies? Yeah, crazy. And then, but fortunately, Victoria, she's given the command to protect Valifor. And then once the fighting breaks out again, she tweaks it to say, well, I'll protect you by taking you as far away as possible from the fighting.
Out of
you. Yeah.
Fran mentioned
Fran mentioned people didn't care because 2 days later Taylor killed Alexandria. That was bigger.
That's true.
Oh, that's like every story that happened the day before 9/11.
Yeah.
Like everybody just forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then with I was gonna say with
Vicky
Vicky and her power, speaking of like adapting with it and stuff like that, she lets the wretch loose for a second and snaps a dude. It snaps the dude's arm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she just kind of like, oh well, like, because they're like, stop, and she's like, okay, and just
No.
lets her wretch go, and she physically stops it. The wretch just breaks the dude's arm in half. And then later on,
Valefor too.
yeah,
Misses him by a hair.
And then later on, she has the moment where the wretch actually holds an object for once. She's like, no, stop breaking every item I give you. Like, hold on to it and use it like a club. And her wretch,
It kind of listens.
It kind of listens.
It's weird.
It's communicating.
Yeah. Now what I'm imagining is Victoria eventually with just, I mean, it does feel like a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where
really
she's like,
does.
It's like she's just got floating clubs around her, just ready to whack people as they get in range, you know. And the wretch is a good name for a stand too, so it works.
Yeah. You should have called it.
I will
the
say
creep.
too.
That way,
the creep.
The musical themes.
There you go. Yeah. Keep it with the musical theme. I will say this is so we had talked previously about the sexual abuse that Victoria experienced with Amy, and I feel like this is the most explicit Wildbow has gotten with it thus far.
Yes.
Because when she's hit with Valefor's hypnosis, she begins to have that sort of a PTSD reaction to it because of what Amy was commanding her to do with her brain. And it's not as, we've talked about it briefly before. It's not still 100% explicit on what exactly happened, but we get enough of a picture to know. Yeah, that was messed up. That was really, really messed up.
It was hard reading that section. And it's something I actually, it made me think of something else and wrote down some notes for another thing, not ward related, but the idea that, we talk about guns being kind of the taboo thing in the world of capes, of like, okay, well, not guns or step too far, but like the mind control thing is so invasive. It's so invasive. Like, all of your agency is gone. You are no longer in control of yourself. And that's so violating as it is. But with that, all of Victoria's trauma, it just like, it made me ill reading it.
Yeah. I mean, it's I will say the amount of, and it makes sense because people are pretty awful, and this is probably what they would do with powers, but the amount of like rapey mind control powers that exist in the Worm universe is an unfortunately high amount. Between Heartbreaker and his emotional manipulation, you've got, even with Regent and his body manipulation gets weird. We've got Canary accidentally doing it to somebody.
I just had a thought.
Right. Yeah.
So speaking of not having control of your own body, Byron and Tristan.
Yeah.
Like, what Tristan does, Byron is a silent viewer, I'll say, and vice versa. Like, while we do see them in this half of the arc probably communicate and like go back and forth and work together a lot more than we've ever seen them do before, there's still that element of like, you don't own you anymore. Like, you're not in charge of you anymore. You don't get the privacy of and the individuality of you anymore, because now you are literally sharing your brain space with, for Victoria, you're sharing your brain space with what Amy is stuck in there and Valefor has stuck in there. And with Byron and Tristan, that same thing. Like, you're stuck with this other person in there with you. Like,
and I mean, think about Rain, or do we talk about Rain with Mama Mathers?
Yeah, Rain with Mama Mathers too. Exactly the same thing of like, your mind is not your own anymore. You don't have not the courtesy. That's not the word.
Autonomy.
The autonomy. Thank you. Autonomy is the exact word I was looking for. Thank you. That's perfect. you no longer have autonomy over your own mind. And if that comes into controlling of your body, the same thing. You have no more body autonomy either. And like that's such a stripping of rights and
oh yeah. I mean it's one of the it's one in the real world, it is one of the things that I think I'm the most like not constantly worried about, but when I think about like bad things that could happen to me, losing my mental faculties in one way or another is definitely up there. Because it's that if you go a little bit crazy, how do you know that you're going crazy?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that's been a theme. Bernard, like you said, it's a theme in Ward. It's a theme that was present in Worm. We had Valfor, and we talking about Regent, and Sophia, and taking over bodies there, and Bonesaw doing things to people, and I'm thinking about Dragon's bodily autonomy, and Armsmaster, violating her autonomy with herself to give her autonomy,
free.
and all of all of that, and then you get to Ward, and Ward is like that for every other person. We're, like you said, we're talking about in our group, like talking about right to, just privacy of your person, and your autonomy, and having, the rights over yourself. Kenzie violates that for everyone else all the time. And so there has to be limits both for her, because she has no limits to herself, and therefore she doesn't see limits on others, which, when we talk about pictures and stuff of somebody, that's also a type of bodily autonomy that you could be talking about. And she just doesn't respect that at all. And so like Kenzie's a violator of that to an extreme degree with people. And then you have, like we said, Rain with everything, and Byron and Tristan and Taylor. And then you get to like, and we don't know anything about Chris. And Sveta also is somebody who's kind of been trapped in her own body as well, like Victoria was. Like she didn't really have control of who she was or what happened to her, because she didn't start like this. She was a human and had her bodily autonomy violated by Cauldron. You could say the same thing about Damsel. Ashley is a clone who probably didn't, the original Ashley probably didn't ask to be cloned, and got worked on, and fooled around with it by Bonesaw, and like didn't ask for any of that. So like there's literally nobody in that group that isn't affected by that as a theme at all. It's very prevalent so far.
I think power and control has always been an important theme, and it seems like Ward is taking it in a similar and different direction. Whereas I feel like Worm was much more literally power, in the sense of power over others. Sort of like Taylor experiencing powerlessness with her bullies to gaining powers over others. This one, Ward definitely feels like it's taking more of a power over yourself and power over others in a different sort of way, which I think is really interesting. I don't know. It's a lot. Yeah. And as people are pointing out, a lot of people here post Worm have been touched by Kepri, who basically borrowed everybody to save the universe. So I mean, like, pros and cons there again, but
and it feels like a lot of the the regular humans feel kind of violated because Gold Morning happened, and they're all left out of the loop. and everything seems to be a bunch of events that are parahuman related that happen around them, and the effects of which are constantly affecting them without their say-so or knowledge or anything.
I think we'll get to that with one of the interludes.
Yeah, with the interlude,
sure. One of the interludes deals with that.
Hannah, you look misty-eyed.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm the whole body autonomy thing just like really kills me. It just really kills me, and it's a tough one. It literally, like, anytime you get into stuff like this with through lines and themes, I honestly jealous that I can't. I wish I could write as good as this with Wildbow's. Just like it's the stuff like this that like really gets to you. It's not until we're sitting here, we're literally talking about these different through lines that we're seeing with the whole body autonomy thing, that I'm like realizing like it's literally everyone. Everyone is fucked. Okay, we're all fucked. Hannah's fucked. Everyone's fucked. It's just it's a whole funky thing, and war's coming, and I'm upset, and I love it a lot. And I love you guys, and I love everyone, and I'm just feeling a lot of things right now.
I'm glad I asked.
Good.
Oh, sorry. You can't. My listeners, audio only listeners, don't know that I'm like been crying over here for the past minute and a half.
Exactly.
You know what? We'll see later. But those of you playing bingo, we haven't gotten to it yet. But I feel like we could count that as the bingo piece. Y'all know which one I'm talking about.
All right. Fair enough.
I think I owe an explanation. If you're gonna give them it, I should know what it is.
Hannah cries.
Look, listen.
For this, to be fair, the original that's written down is for a specific scene.
Let's see. Well, let's hold off.
But
if we haven't gotten to it, wait, just you wait, because we might.
It could happen.
Because we might. We might.
That cry.
Okay.
Look, I cry a lot.
We'll hold off.
I'm a very emotional individual.
All right.
Well,
as the only girl on the podcast, I'll gladly cry.
Very heavy.
Somebody's got to have feelings.
And it's gonna be.
Bernard, I know a long time ago asked, "What's the difference in combat?" And once again, I think combat in Ward is way more emotional on a both literal sense, like the emotion powers. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The emotion powers, there's way more of them. And how Victoria, because she's an emotion power person, views everything way more like as an emotional response. When things happen, she gets frustrated. When it's just more emotionally
I will
packed.
say, yeah, I think with Taylor, you kind of get almost with Taylor, I almost felt like I could visualize the battlefields more because she was so analytical. And she's like, all right, 13 degrees this way. We're going to move a bug here, and it's going to hit that guy in the nose, and he's going to sneeze and shoot that man. Like that was how Taylor fought people. So you could very clearly see her game plan. With Victoria, it's all vibes. It's vibes-based fighting.
Yeah,
it's good, though. It's fun. Speaking of vibes-based fighting, Damsel blows a hole in Bob.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yep, I see we've reached the find out stage of Damsel.
Fuck around and find out.
We've been fucking around for a while, but
we did the full
fuck around.
Because we went from Ashley's gonna be the problem of the group to there's no way Ashley's the problem of the group to she's one of the problems of the group.
I mean, look, Ashley's the solution.
I will say of the, I think Ashley was the most obvious answer for a lot of the questions of like, if there's a problem, who's it gonna be? Like, sure, okay, it's Ashley. She is the former villain. But like, I didn't expect that we would have it happen so quickly. I expected her to hold on for a little bit longer, but no. I surprised and also not surprised at all. I think it was a valid response. I'm on Team Ashley here for this one.
How her power was shorting
stepped
out.
On her dress.
I don't know if she meant to, but whatever.
He
I'll
stepped
roll
on her
with it.
dress. Okay?
He really did. He was being an asshole, and
he was being an asshole.
Like talk shit, get hit.
If you can't,
basically,
the heat.
Yeah, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Although I do, in hindsight, wonder if it was really a good idea to have Ashley be the one that infiltrates the other group.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah,
play like she's one of them.
Double
/
agent.
Double agent villain.
Our mole.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Bernard, did one of us really predict that Bob was going to be the one to die?
Oh gosh, really? Good on us if that's the
Nice.
case.
We'll
But
have to go back
it wasn't me.
figure
I can
that
tell
out.
you that right now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
on her, wasn't me.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's weird. It's one of those things where it's like, we've had our protagonists, our heroes, quote unquote, kill before in Worm and stuff like that. So it's like it's not that new of a thing, but yet it's still sort of it caught me off guard when it happened.
Yeah.
Like obviously the water was boiling.
It's jarring.
But it was a shocking moment.
There are two one-liners that get dropped in this section that felt almost humorous to me in how wrong they felt for the moment. And one of them's this scene where Damsel shoots him, blows a hole in his torso, and then just goes, "No, you stop."
I love it.
No, you.
I love it.
It's literally the no
reverse.
reverse.
It was so good.
Uno reverse.
Yeah, and
great.
I'm like, okay, we'll get to the other one later.
Damsel does not have the social skills to give a banger one-liner. I do think out
Taylor
of context
was our comedy one-liner. Yeah,
she never said them out loud. Taylor was a comedic genius, and just only thought things. There were 500 other banger liners. She was fucking hilarious.
She was fucking hilarious.
Her and Clock Blocker would have been the most insufferable duo.
Oh, they would have been so good. So good together.
Yeah. The only other person to infiltrate is Chris. Yes, thank you, Fran. That is true, because people would show up and go, "What's that upside down banana thing?" And he'd be like, "Ma! Ma!" And like there would be no, or just the screaming like, "Ha!" From mad anxiety or whatever. Like, and everybody would be like, "Oh, let's kill that right away, please."
That one.
I do like how
that
one.
Response to Chris has just been to like shudder and just ignore it. Like, okay,
maybe it'll go away.
Just go away if we just don't interact with it.
Is that just how cockroaches are here on this planet? Like, did we miss that before?
Oh, that's
did
amazing.
we wake it up?
That's phenomenal.
All right. Well, R.I.P. Bob.
5'11".
Yeah.
R.I.P. Bob.
Rip Bob.
5'11". Consequences. Victoria reaches out, but Ashley backs out. Side piece plays bingo. Conversation with Chris and a battle plan brief. Victoria fights the fallen bodyguards, but Mama makes the hostages, including Aaron, lose their minds. Yeah. So Victoria.
Not Aaron.
Victoria immediately trying to be like, "Don't worry, Ashley. We can explain this all away. Like, don't like worry about it too bad." Which, I mean, to be fair, it's like, okay, who witnessed this? Blatant murder of Bob, a bunch of villains, and Ashley's 3 best friends. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Look, this is like watching a shooting outside a Waffle House. Like, we knew what we were getting into. That's just. It happened, and you explained to the cops. I was at a Waffle House, and they say no more. Like,
Jeez, that's not. Let's be clear.
Turn off the body cams,
Nor do we intend.
Victoria says, "Okay, look, we're all just gonna." The body cams steps on it. Like, something happened.
Valafor told you to do it. He said, "Attack your friends."
Let's get
Clearly,
our story
Bob was
straight.
your best friend.
Yep. We're all going to talk about how you and Bob went back years all the way to Boston. Boston Bob, they called him.
I do like that there's this bit
That
where
is
Ashley
true. Fran points out she was introduced by covering up a Cape brutality scene in her very first appearance.
Victoria, yeah.
Victoria.
She punted a man. She punted a
shit.
man down an alley.
She threw a
with
dumpster at him.
Yeah,
Dumpster at his ass. And then called her sister in to cover up his mess. We could just heal that up. You can't heal this up, Victoria. There's a hole in his chest.
Make a phone call.
I love that. It's that image of the picture of like me when I hurt my sibling, but it's that medieval painting of a guy holding another guy with an arrow in his eye. And he's like, "Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. It's okay. You're gonna be fine." Don't tell mom.
It's okay. Don't tell mom. Oh, I love that so much. It's so funny. Oh man, I love that's such like a universal sibling thing. Like we've all done it. That we all know exactly what's happening. We're all just God damn.
Yeah. Jacob, what were you saying?
Funny to me.
You were saying something. Do you remember?
I was saying that I liked Ashley has this moment where she's almost like instantly regrets it, but then puts on the facade that she's still the big meanie. Like,
yes,
Victoria notices that initially she looks different, like the murderous intent in her eye, and then that fades, and looks very scared. And so there's still this this internal conflict that Ashley has. Yeah,
the other villains are like you're stepping on his dead body, like she was like wiping her boots off on him, and they were like Jesus, like we were cold blooded. We get that, like. Calm the fuck down. And it was almost like a double prove. Like, no, I really am bad. Like, look at me. I'm disrespecting a court.
Look how bad I am.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Man. Yeah, that and like and then side piece kind of putting the two and two together of like you used her real name. You arrived like side piece is kind of playing that game of like
side piece kind of smart.
Side piece is smart.
It connects.
the tips they touch.
For somebody whose power is literally ripping out her own body part and trying to land bits of spleen on people as a game.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Look, got some brains.
Side piece bingo. You've got to keep your job interesting, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Side piece knows how to do it.
I'm gonna blow up someone with a piece of uterus.
That.
Yeah. Gotta hit somebody with a piece of uterus.
Splat.
Really gives a
Say it, Nick.
Really gives a different vibe to the nickname Thunder Cunt. I just didn't know if I could say that on stream.
Well, you have now.
Wow, you did
I said it now.
You
also,
we
probably called
it was probably
Victoria's mom a cunt. At least
I was probably me. I do know I have said that word on this podcast.
It's okay. We have Scottish friends. We can say.
And I'm sure there's an Australian somewhere.
Someone got bingo.
We got the ski pass.
We got a bingo.
Bingo.
I'm gonna do the inspection. Yeah. It looks like we have Kenzie's parents are robots. Jester's tattoo. Side piece gets a laugh, and then also it's we haven't gotten that other one yet. Yeah, but
let's
go. Okay, maybe not.
Side piece gets a laugh. That is our 3. We were doing a 3x3 tonight. So
3x3.
Oh,
okay,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yep,
perfect.
As William Doe says. When the other villains are saying, calm down, edgelord, you fucked up. It's like, whoa. It's like, all right, we're all bad guys here, but whoa.
We're not bad guys.
We're not bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ashley kind of yeets herself out of the battlefield, so she's out of there.
I think that was probably the best solution.
Chris has lost a leg, but he's okay.
He's got 3 others.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's all right. He just, he makes it work.
5.12.
Let's go.
Yeah. All the hostages are losing their mind. 5.12. Rain and the marching band use their resistance to Mama to sedate her. There is a spot of hope before the speedrunners make their move. Valifor spites the heroes with the hostages, and Rain fights Snag.
The speedrunners?
Yeah, so The speedrunners, yes, they're a
Those
bunch of
fuckers.
time manipulators
Oh,
who.
that's cool.
Yeah, they suck.
They're a bunch of bitches.
This is the
Tinkers.
this is the other one-liner that bothered me because I was like, just there's got to be a cooler way to say that. Like at one point, somebody asks one of the speedrunners, like, "What's going on? Like, why are you betraying us?"
Mm-hmm.
And they just say, "Someone had to represent the fourth." I'm like,
Yes.
What? It's the worst way you could have said that.
You Kansu worshipping motherfuckers.
Like just say like Kansu forever or something. I don't know, like pile of
No,
Kansu. I don't anything.
But I mean, I liked
feels
it though.
like I think what bothers me is it feels almost dismissive. Well, someone had to. Like it's not like they really believe in it.
I just had.
We just felt like
I imagine he said it with like a sneer and a chuckle. Like he looked over and he goes, "Well, somebody had to represent the fourth," and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, you
the tone.
Like that was how I read it. Where I was like,
maybe it just.
Oh God!
For some reason.
That was so good.
Also,
it was such a good
Also, Wonderland for the bingo. We are not counting the Hannah cries one. I misspoke what we talked about earlier. Not counting that one just yet because there's a specific time. I did jump the gun on that, but if Hannah doesn't cry later on, I'll give it for the episode.
Do I need to cry on camera, or do I need to tell you that I cried while reading it?
We got you misty-eyed. I'll count that. But it has to be about a certain part.
She grabbed her
That's the
hat.
problem.
She had to grab the hat, and she did this.
I did grab my hat. I was really upset.
Yeah.
So I get to that. Sveta stuffing her wig in Valfor's mouth. Pretty great.
That was really great.
You got to work with what you got, and just right down his throat.
That bit reminded me of I think, what is it? Is it Avengers 2 where he's in the Hulkbuster punching Hulk and it's just like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I imagine Sveta's just like, shut up. Stop talking.
So great.
The sun's going down.
Love it.
Yeah, and as Fran put it out, like Tohu and Bohu still got no representation. Nobody. You get into those ones. Nobody gives a fuck.
You know what it is? You know what? I'll give you this, Fran. I bet you there's got to be a pair of fallen twins out there in some cabin in the woods. One male, one female, just incesting it up.
No.
For Tohu and Bohu.
Oh no! I'll cry for that. Shit.
Also, another bingo from Treaty for the same three: Kenzie's parents, robots, Jester Tattoo, and side piece gets a laugh. Did the Jester Tattoo end up being the free space for some reason? I guess it did.
Maybe. I mean, we did mention it.
Funny.
Yeah. No. I looked at all of them. I guess it's a free space. So,
okay, so speaking of wild power, so Rain and March and some of her associates appear. March, which somebody warned Foyle that March was there as well. I don't remember when that happened. That got brought up at some point.
It's in the interlude.
Okay, it's in the interlude.
Is this a little bingo boy right here?
Oh, look at
just grabbed him by the scruff.
So they have resistance to Mama Mather's power. Yes. And what I love about it is the fact that the way they have it is they have a hero, or they have not a hero, they have a cape on their side who can transplant body parts temporarily.
Yeah.
It's like he's like, I've got somebody else's eyes. It's cool. Mine are back at base.
I'm like, what? No, it's not that it's two of them. It's the Gray twins.
Yeah.
The third person back at base, as far as we know, is just a rando that they're subbing the body parts out for. They're just like in a coma back there getting their body parts swapped out.
Oh my gosh.
Which, if you know about the Greys, it's the Greek when we talk about the fates passing the eye back and forth.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what they are. It's the three old women that pass the eye around.
I love that. God.
So.
I love when capes. I love reference shit like that. Like, I'm too stupid to know most of it, but like I love it when Alan points it out.
I mean, you've also got the what is it? I don't know how to say it. Amaldon.
Yeah, or Chang.
Ameldon.
Oh,
Yep.
Which is
yeah.
one of
The
those
power
lesser known.
canceling guy.
Yeah, one of those lesser known princes of hell, and demonic
Yeah.
I love the
mythology.
Prince of Hell.
Well, because Valifor is a prince of hell. I looked
That's
that
my
one up to
nickname
see
for
if
it,
it's
too.
named anything.
Prince of Hell?
Prince
Yeah.
of hell?
Wait, are you serious?
No,
I don't believe you.
no.
Oh,
Wow.
thanks.
the
I
red
will
hair,
believe
you know.
I
anything
did believe you.
Michael
It's the
said.
red
It's
hair.
the red hair. Yeah. They're just walking down the streets of Peru and people just calling you in
Yeah.
Spanish. El Princo Diablo.
El Diablo. Yeah.
Wait, how do you say prince in Spanish?
Good question. It'll come to me
Oh
later.
no, I'm sorry, Michael. I put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I just had a beer as well. It
Yeah.
didn't help. So
I did like how
Um,
this whole
yeah.
arc was them all going. So this is a trap, right? This is definitely a trap, 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a trap.
100.
Oh yeah,
Definitely gonna
it's
be a
fucking
trap. Oh no, it was a trap.
Yeah.
Oh, we were not prepared for this. Yeah,
it's Príncipe.
definitely. The
Yeah.
obvious trap was obvious.
What was it?
Príncipe Diablo.
Yeah, Príncipe.
Príncipe
Príncipe.
Diablo.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that.
It's like Prince
Should've known
almost
that.
with a PE at the end.
Principe.
IPE.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've got so March has an interesting power compared to foils. Like, right, foil we know has sort of the physics defying punch through reality power.
Mm-hmm.
March seems to have sort of the opposite where it's like rip through reality power and then make explosions from it.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the power.
Not exactly, but you know,
I
Her
believe
sword
sort of
was
a
doing funny things.
delayed explosion trigger
Yeah.
is what we see of how she uses it, at least.
I'll double check. I think it has more to do with so
It's like a fuse.
It's all it's like she makes a line with her sword
Makes a-
and then it
and then the
glows
end.
and then it blows up. Yeah, because she
Yeah,
kills
that's
somebody with it.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strange.
We don't know exactly what that means. I was guessing at the ripping through reality thing because it's supposed to be sort of similar to foils, I imagine.
Yeah, because foil's main power set, like as we look, is like essentially nullifying a lot of the effects of things like gravity and I'm looking through side things, and on that line, like, I'll just see,
I'm curious how they're, because they were all cluster trigger, right? That's the
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm
March
very
foil
curious.
and other
Yeah.
people we don't know.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
Very curious.
another one of those don't look it up, but
Yep. Nope.
Yeah. Sure.
but interesting.
I'm hoping that we'll get an interlude eventually from March,
Yeah.
which would be really fun because I think that getting her there, I don't know, I'll say their perspective on their cluster trigger thing would be really interesting because like we've gotten a lot from Rain and like we know how their system works, but I would assume that not all cluster triggers work like that with the whole sleep thing and the room and the segments and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So I'd be very curious. Yeah.
There's
Also, Wonderland.
some. Oh,
I would count
Wonderland?
that as a fails to understand power, so I know you've got a bingo Wonderland with fails to understand
Fails
power.
to understand powers.
Chester,
that's another
Chester
pretty
too, and Kenzie's
I
parents
mean,
are
is it a-
robots.
Is it a failure to understand or is it just
Or it's just a lack of information.
Yeah, a lot of things. I'll be honest. I failed to understand it, and I know what it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I did like that they were Foil was
Yeah.
very aware that they were coming for her. Like, oh yeah, they've tried before. They came a couple times in Brockton Bay. Took Perry in hostage once. Like just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I was like,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
this isn't.
Yeah,
this
not
isn't-
just once. Doesn't it say like twice?
Was it twice? Because I remember
I think it was
like
just once, but
in the
I
last couple
remember it
chapters,
once,
it
but
was like, oh no, Foil, what's gonna happen? She doesn't know what's happening. It's like, no, this has been going on for a while. She's prepared.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's
Yeah,
anything other.
Mama does release the hostages. They get her to
thank
release
goodness.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else, and basically she's like, okay, I agree to go quietly. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody else. I'm assuming she's in on the plan. Maybe didn't plan to get sedated.
Yeah. They wrap her up like a mummy, Mathers.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well,
Well, it doesn't last long.
No,
yeah, and then the speedrunners.
Nope.
Okay, so
Those
who
tons of
are all of the speedrunners? I'm trying to get all of their powers again.
So here's the thing about the speedrunners with a lot of these things. It doesn't fucking matter. They're all the same power. There's too many and they're all at once and it's very
End of Days.
End of Days
was
very cool.
Has one of those like, I'm just gonna put you in a pocket dimension power.
He is banished.
What the hell?
He is banished.
Yeah,
banished.
He has banished the power.
It's very cool.
Jeez, like, dang.
Also,
terrifying.
Wonderland has the double bingo. Not only the fails to understand power Jester and Kenzie's, but also the cat on screen fails to understand power and argument over whether Damsel was justified in killing Bob.
Let's go!
Nicely done.
Well done. Yeah, I think
getting shunted into the banished realm.
Yeah.
You go in the sin bin. Ba-dink.
The what?
Yeah.
The sin bin.
The
the penalty box. The penalty box. Come on.
I've never heard that. That's great.
I've never heard of it.
I was just
don't need to watch
the
shadow. Come on.
Send him to the shadow realm.
I would love to watch
that.
Yeah.
Which I found out a couple of weeks ago for the first time that the Shadow Realm was a creation of 4Kids animation in the United States. In the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime, people just die if they lose the duel.
Oh,
apparently.
Wait, what? I know that there's way more guns and people get shot.
People just die. And so they're like, well, we got to censor that. So we're going to create hell where they can be eternally tormented instead if they lose.
What?
I'm pretty sure that's what I read. I don't know how true that is, but
so many
I just think that's hilarious to be like, oh, this, we can't have killing on screen. Let's just traumatize kids by sending the villains to hell instead.
Into just like a horrible.
Just all the guys who they like animated their hands just like this, clearly holding guns.
Fran says it's true. Yeah,
there's no guns in their hands because they can't show it on TV in America, so they're just like, hold still.
He's just like, hey.
Yeah.
Or that was like the ET where they animated all of the guns as walkie-talkies.
Oh, really?
They like went back. Went back and wiped all of them into like VHS and like for like the DVD release.
Crazy stuff. So
yeah. Okay. Fran is thinking of the same one I was. Where there's one episode where Yugi fights this clown guy.
Oh, yeah.
Has buzzsaws. That as you get closer to losing the game, the buzzsaws get closer to you, but they're soul buzzsaws that cut your soul and send you to the Shadow Realm. I imagine in the original anime, they're just straight up buzzsaws that kill you.
Yeah, that's like that's the when they immediately go into Duel City or whatever that like Kaiba's running, and like Yugi's like, I'm gonna wander off into an alley, and he like this clown kidnaps him and like threatens to kill him.
Exactly. Oh man.
Please, for the love of God,
stay on the main streets, Yugi.
For the love of God. Can we move on?
We need to move on? Okay, yeah.
We do.
For two
after
reasons.
Yugi escapes from the buzzsaw.
No! My God, I'm sorry. I do not care about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, we can fix that. Anyway, so holy shit, Rain actually does some shit for once in his life.
Yeah.
And straight up yoinking and doinking people over here. Fucking offs.
I feel like he turned the weakness of his arms into a strength where from what I'm reading it right, didn't he basically have trapped arm blades? Oh, I'm kind of glitching out, I'm sorry.
No,
no, you're good. You're fine.
Okay, yeah. he had like traps inside of his arms because he knew the snag would try to break them, is what it feels like. And then he traps them so blades shoot out when they break and cut his arm.
Oh, what?
I'm like, that was genius. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of read like
good.
that. I think you're right.
He's got these
That's
like little
crazy.
robot arms that when they break, like shoot out like assassin blades into Snag's arm.
That's cool.
It was a good move.
And then he does the whole like, I'm gonna cut you with my power. And he's like, don't move, Snag. And Snag first time listens, does it again, and Snag's like, you know what? And then dies.
Yeah.
Promptly falls.
You know what? I don't, because he died.
Wildbow must have the craziest dreams. This is crazy. Like, how did he come up with this stuff?
That's great.
Wow.
So good.
Yeah.
Hey, Vic's here. Glad you could make it.
Hello, Vic.
We're about to get to the interludes.
Just in time.
Alrighty.
Interlude time.
Interlude 5.x. Interlude Citrine. Jean and Kurt win, brief the other mayoral candidates. Bet is irradiated, mass immigration is needed, and Jean's past is explored. The couple and Ken seek the dealer, but find Teacher has claimed his resources instead. Cauldron appears to endure.
So I did like this. I like because I love the world building interludes. I think it's a lot of fun. This was some whiplash following these combat chapters. Was like, okay, where are we at? What are we doing? Just had to completely reorient for like half the chapter.
I will say I wanted to say I called it too as soon as, because we find out Jean is Citrine before Kurt is Number Man. I want to say though I called it. I'm like, they turn to Kurt and he's like sitting at his computer typing, not looking up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's fucking Number Man. I know
it's
it is.
Man. It's Number Man.
You know her type.
Yeah.
You know her type. You know his type.
Yep.
It's like that Moon Knight, altered Moon Knight comic. Where the fuck are you, Number Man? Son of a bitch. You owe me $20.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so Jean Wynn, we find out, is Citrine. She is running for mayor. One of the other mayoral candidates has caught on to the fact that they are either using parahumans, and he's like, you know what?
Yep.
I'm good.
Yep.
I'm out. Like, you guys figure it out. I'm just a dude. I'm gone. Which I can respect.
One of them just one of them just goes like, pussy. Sorry. You can leave, Gary. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Oh man.
We were letting you in on these meetings.
Somehow
you a favor.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many eventualities Accord planned for, but apparently all of this is based on plans that Accord had too, which I love.
Of course.
I love that. Yeah.
What? They've taken over the ambassadors. It's oh my god. And apparently Earth Bet is kind of screwed. Kind of sucks to be there. Why would you want to be there? Leave. Get out. Go. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, look. It's not great, but we weren't going to have the worlds all kind of explode and have portals in between them to not have at least one irradiated planet. Like, we needed at least one. It might as well be Earthbet. Let's just evacuate everybody and close that shit off. Like,
and as we know from previous arcs as well, right? Isn't there like a machine army that's slowly spreading across North America,
running through North Carolina?
Yep.
On the way.
Like there's it's just not worth it anymore. Just leave.
Just
or
go.
Close it off. At some point, you just gotta be like, yeah.
There's gotta be.
I did kind of. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. I was gonna move on to something else, but that's.
I was just gonna say that like there's enough people moving between, and there's enough people just stationed in Bet that this is like an active, ongoing problem that we're gonna need to like fucking fix that shit soon and fast.
The dead world.
Yeah, this kind of world building. Yeah, it's a dead world, Morty. Yeah, this is the kind of world building I like, where it's like, okay, how are we practically dealing with this ruined world, this ruined Earth? Very interesting.
Yeah.
We see a little bit of when it appears we see a bit of when Citrine or Jean was sort of adopted by what's his name? Accord. Which I liked. I like which, you know, it was funny. I didn't notice it was Accord at first, and then the way he was talking, I was like, oh, this is Accord. Like, you don't even have to tell me. The way he's like, she's like, can I ask you a question? And he's like, you may ask me a question.
It's like, oh, that's fucking Accord.
That bastard. Yeah, that bastard. I love him. Gone too soon.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. And then, yes, we see a bit of the past. We see, I do love that Number Man has kept in touch with some of his clones.
Oh, that's,
so
that was
they're
great.
driving.
Love it.
This whole part was great. The driving, them hopping in the windows into the back seat, and then
they pull over reverse red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then them, Citrine and Number Man using their powers in conjunction, where he's like, a little to the left, please.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And then I love how she's like, I can always tell, I know how you feel about me because your clones don't hide it as well as you do. Or something like that. That was a great line.
It was
If ever there was
like,
a doubt,
they're
that
like
was
still
your
like teenagers, basically, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like teenagers, basically, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's so pretty." That's what I'm imagining.
so much. It's so cute.
Yeah.
I
As
love
Fran
the
put,
pairing.
Number Man is a lot like Donald Duck, where he has a bunch of little versions of himself running around like in DuckTales. He doesn't wear pants. I'd also like to think that Number Man does not wear pants. It's actually a pretty good analogy.
Winnie the Pooh in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's Winnie the Pooh.
Honey the Pooh looking motherfucker.
Oh, he's just Number Man's just the, because he's always on his laptop, right? He's the epitome of the Zoom call where he's got full 3-piece suit up top, but he's just got boxers on for pants, right?
Yeah.
They're the most efficient. When I'm running, I have to have my boxers on. He's got some just number-related reason why. If I wore pants, they would inhibit my flow.
Yep.
Oh man, he's got those like 80s running shorts that are way too short.
Vic is just
God, chat right now.
Vic said that Number Man is hung. For those of you who can't read this in the future. Oh no!
He's shouting, "Pants? What pants?" Thank you, Brian.
What a great time.
I don't need no goddamn pants. I've done the math. Nobody needs pants.
Jesus. I love it.
Almost done.
There's
guys.
not a formula out there that anyone can use to calculate how hung I am.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are we becoming?
We're one chapter left.
Ultimate power couple.
Anyways,
I love them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good
they're
power
great.
couple. They try to get to the dealer who had some cauldron vials. My guess is
my
the
God.
dealer is the guy who's been illegally selling cauldron vials all the way back in Worm.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
My assumption is it's the same guy.
That'd be great.
He finally, though, sold out of his stock because Teacher bought it all. And Teacher is in Cauldron's main old base. The one that
Son
got
of a bitch.
Yeah, he's there somehow. Which makes me think, though, is Contessa working with Teacher? Because they talked a bit at the end of Worm.
Very curious.
Yeah.
There is
The lack of Contessa that we've had so far has made me very curious.
They did mention Fortuna, which I believe is Contessa's code name. So they said, we'll let her live out her, relax her days in peace. She's done enough.
Oh,
already.
yeah. That's
But
true. That's true. They do mention she might be in retirement.
I don't buy that.
But could she be? Could she be in retirement?
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, as Not So Certain so tastefully pointed out, why would Number Man wear pants when he's got jeans?
Jeans.
Damn.
Get fucked.
God.
As Fran said, money is a human construct, like pants.
Like pants.
Yeah, like pants. That's right.
Oh, I love it. Y'all
Right,
are
right.
so funny. Shit. We got a bunch of funny bunnies.
Ugh.
Alrighty.
All right.
Well-
last one.
Yeah, last one.
Last one,
Wait.
5.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I have
last
one
thing.
last
Go
thing to
ahead.
say about this. It's something that I was thinking about with Victoria and kind of this back and forth. It's really much like how in Worm we start out in Brockton Bay. It feels very small. It feels like, Taylor's priority is the docks, right? And then, you've got Endbringers hitting and things are getting bigger and the world is expanding and the world is expanding. But by the time you get to the end of Worm, or I'll even say mid-Worm to the end, the world that we exist in is that Taylor knows things and is part of the bigger picture of what's going on in the world. Like she is part of the big shit, right? Like she knows it and it's part. So when we end with Worm, all the big stuff has happened and we've been a part of it and we've been in the know, and then we're back in Ward now, where we're in Hollow Point, and it's like we're back to small potatoes, and like my big worm brain is like, I need the big picture shit. And so Victoria in Hollow Point and them trying to do stuff. Nick, you're laughing. What are you laughing at?
I saw
gotta
the
know.
Something
moment.
in chat. Something
moment.
in chat. I'm sorry.
It's William Doe putting the formula for the volume
Formula
of
for the
the
volume.
cylinder. So
I'm
we
sorry.
can measure the measurement of his magnum dong.
I was
Okay,
listening
all right,
and then
wow.
I saw that and I
I
got
was
distracted. I'm
listening.
so sorry.
Both of
So
your
sorry.
faces at the bottom, just like
I saw it happen. I saw just Nick just like put his hand over his mouth, and I'm like, what is happening? Okay. All right. You bitches.
Sorry.
My
I'm
point though is, I'll be quick. My point though is that we've had such big potatoes and now we're back to small potatoes. And so having this reminder again that war is so imminent, that Bet is irradiated. Like we're
Yeah.
back to big potatoes again. And I love it because I'm ready. Like I'm ready. I know that it won't be long until we're back to big potatoes from Victoria's standpoint. But like it's a good reminder that like while we were so small in Taylor's head with high school and bullies, which feels so small in comparison to Gold Morning, which is where we end up, in that same scenario, dealing with Hollow Point and dealing with, Mama Mather's clan, which is a big problem, and then war loometh, and I'm so excited to get to big potatoes.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Vic says I prefer my potatoes baked in with butter. Okay, listen. Same, but I want them to be big baked potatoes with butter.
Yeah, somebody commented it and removed it, so I don't know if that was bingo bait, but they did mention that we skipped over the character Barfbat.
Oh, we did. I mean,
I think that's all
great
that needs to
name.
be said.
Yeah.
Barfbat's pretty bad.
All right. 5-point
As far as
Y
names go.
interlude for Snag.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we see
Cool.
Jonathan before the Maul multi-trigger. His personality becomes more apparent. The fourth fallen branch reveals itself. Rain kills Snag, who finds clarity in death, and he sees what's in the fifth room and his final fate. Yeah, this
Oof.
was
Holy
a tough
shit.
one.
Yeah, this one was hard. I mean, we've said it all along that like, yeah, they're assholes now, but all of Rain's cluster is kind of justified in their revenge plot. Like they have a very valid reason for wanting to see the fallen dead, and like
Yeah,
and kind of wanting to root for Snag the whole time, and just this his like just path towards destruction was really sad. This was like a very, very sad chapter. Well
yeah.
written, but sad.
I liked getting to see a bit more insight into his mover power as well, where it is he can make anything down, so he can just kind of
Yeah.
ping pong himself around, which was really cool. Yeah, getting to see who he was before, getting to see sort of his kindness, his generosity, his thoughtfulness towards these things. And then when he's killed, we see him kind of have that clarity in death moment where he's like, no, oh no, I'm so wrong. We shouldn't be trying to kill Rain. Like, we shouldn't. That last little bit of humanity in him comes back, and he's like, what have I been doing this whole time? Like, why have I been pursuing this goal of killing this kid? Like, this is so wrong. And he sees that final dream sequence, which seems to be different than the rest because it's probably just him. And yeah, that last little moment. I was reading some of the comments on this arc or on this interlude, and some people were debating on what it was that he saw in the fifth room. In the going theory is that he, or at least what they were theorizing, the people I was reading, is that he realizes, oh, that person's been in there in a sense this whole time. But they just can't interact with us. And now I'm going to be like that too, where I can't interact with the others. And this piece of me has been lost as well for them. A lot of people are also saying that maybe Snag, we don't know much about Cradle and Love Lost quite as deeply now as we do Snag, but Snag maybe was the most empathetic of the other cluster members. So how will losing that empathy affect the other cluster members was a question people had. A lot of interesting things here with this particular cluster, and I really, really, I really liked it.
And how powers are going to be affected with the loss of somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
By no longer having that side.
Do they lose it?
Yeah.
Or do they each get a piece of it?
Yeah. Do they become stronger because of it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I felt like the kind of the end when he's having that moment of like realization of like we shouldn't hold on to this kind of anger and, you know, to keep going after Rain. I felt like that was because obviously their anger towards Rain and towards the Fallen is of course, you know, connected to the trauma and the trigger itself, but is obviously very much affected by Kiss Kill. And I think that like in this moment when he's dying, to me I kind of felt like that maybe that Kiss Kill is dampening now as he's kind of flickering out. His consciousness is kind of flickering away, and if you take away the Kiss Kill response, what is left but just you and your trauma, and kind of him still at the end being like, oh yeah, no, like this isn't right.
And it connects to something in 5.x that I forgot to mention had come to mind, is that how much the passengers are influencing the people that they are attached to.
Yeah.
Because in 5.x, the mayoral candidate who drops out, Gary, whatever his name is.
Gary Neves.
Gary, he drops out stating everything we know about parahumans and their entities, that they're all aggressive, they're designed to push you to fight, and I don't want that kind of person leading us, but I know I don't have a chance against you, so I'm just going to drop out and do my own thing. But that with, you know, Jean, Citrine basically saying, well, Cauldron Capes are different, but we don't really know if they are. We don't probably have enough knowledge to know if they are truly different, or if maybe they are more stable than normal capes. And so we have that question of how much of what Snag experienced was him and his trauma, and how much was just his passenger pushing this particular cluster to try to kill the other members.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's kind of an interesting question. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Also, Bernard, no, Gary isn't advised by parahuman as far as we know. But unfortunately, everybody else in the room is.
Yeah.
This is him off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
his frustration very much so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just everything's cyclical there. Alexandria was in charge of the PRT secretly. Gene is going to become the mayor of the new megalopolis. Like, parahumans are always going to be on top one way or another.
If she doesn't, then Sierra Kelly does, and not.
Yeah.
And
she is her own person, but like strong
so
ties
heavily
to Tattletale.
Absolutely, yeah. Like funded by information from like you can't untangle her from Tattletale at all. Like that's impossible. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
With the end of this interlude though, that kind of moment where you realize that this fifth member of their cluster that's been presumably dead this whole time with their dark, segment. And that realization, like you said, Nick, where it's like, oh, they've been here this whole time. And like not sure where the dream ends or begins, but like continually stuck in this loop. And like not I feel like there's a line, I can't remember what it is exactly, but there's a line near the end where it's something along the lines of like, shit, I might need to pull it up and read it because sorry, I'm gonna look it up really quick.
Well, you look it up really quick. Tats is Tattletale's new nickname.
Tats? No.
Tats?
Is it?
I mean,
who
of course.
Called her, was that Imp who called her
yeah,
that?
Of course it's Imp.
It was Imp? Yeah.
Well, tease in the chat. We all know.
There's some...
We mentioned Tattletale, everybody.
Yep.
Come on.
Mentioned Tattletale. Double T's. TT in the chat. Yeah, so there's some interesting little hero or villain stuff here as well, where Snag is like, why are these Brockton Bay capes, why are they all like standing back? They're so like they're not doing as much. And the hint we get is like, well, maybe they knew that the speedrunners were going to betray them, so they're holding back so they don't get so deeply entangled with it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what
Tattletale fucking knew that shit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I did love to Snag jumping at Imp reappearing like we'd had before.
Yeah.
That was just good.
Yeah.
Good memories of like, oh right, yeah.
I found this section I was talking about. So it's at the very, very end of interlude 5.Y.
Wait, that is my pen.
He loves pens. Okay, the lights went off, the barrier went down, and he gained something of an understanding of what, not who, was in the fifth space that had been there between his and the fallen boys. With that knowledge, he slipped into dreams of a different sort, knowing that even if they paused or were broken up by visits to the room, there would never be an end to them. And like this kind of purgatory space that this has now become. And it makes me wonder, like, we don't really talk about, like, well, I mean, obviously you have the Fallen and you have cults like that who have a very, like, religious, connotations and things being attached to them. But, like, we don't really see a lot of, like, religious ideologies of, like, what happens after you die? Is there heaven and hell? And this feels like the closest thing to purgatory that you could be stuck in this like weird little dreamlike state where he's not really dead, he's just kind of like here, he's just in the room, and like time passes and dreams slip into each other, and it's like are you just stuck there until the entire cluster is dead? Like, do you like what does death look like?
If you're
in that
lucky,
case?
maybe you get to be one of Valkyrie's ghosts.
And if so, are you consciously aware of that? Like, are you? Yeah, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it's like it starts to bring into account, like, okay, because your passenger's linked to you, are you linked to it? Like, it's going to live on past your death. So when you die, is like your consciousness kind of also attached to the passenger at that point in time?
Right.
Like, and if so, is that like, that how Valkyrie can work with them? In which case you are in a purgatory state. You don't get to just die and go into the ground, or Wildbow thought the worm universe was too nice, so of course he had to introduce Cape Hell.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Is that the case for everyone? This is just what it looks like in a multi-trigger, like, you know, and yeah. So it's interesting. But yeah, with that, close out the night with our questions. Of course, our favorite power. What did you get to see that was new and interesting and fun for you?
Ooh, some fun powers this time. Just a few of them.
Nobody say banana bird,
please. Banana bird.
Banana bird.
Ring, 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 ring. Banana bird. It's the banana phone song.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the banana phone song.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I was gonna say Amalayam or whatever that guy's name is. I thought him having sort of a cluster of powers, not to use that term lightly necessarily, but in the sense of like, my spear negates powers, my star teleports me. Like, I don't know what he's got going on, but he's got a very interesting grouping of powers going on. I thought that was kind of cool. And the power negation one is definitely very spooky, I'm sure, for a lot of capes to be like, oh, like Victoria's like, I can't fly anymore because I flew around him, he negated it, and now I can't fly. Like, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the simplicity of the banishment from
End of Days.
End of Days, yeah. It's such a simple power, but it's terrifying. Like, they don't know. And Victoria's whole, like, she has that moment where she's like, I'm trapped here. Is this a permanent trapping? Did I just get banished for good? It was terrifying. Great little.
I mean, in a world where time bubbles exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiple forms of hell.
Yeah.
My favorite was a goofy little one, and it's just the one that's stuck in my head. Is the dude who can rearrange where his body parts are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
just like you grab the wrist, and all of a sudden that turns into the ankle. Or
yeah. That was
like
great.
it's like a 5-pointed star, and you can just kind of shift whatever limb goes where. But then if he does it too much, he strains himself. He just like all of a sudden there's the mouth and the stomach, and like and the one girl's like, do I need to be worried about him? And she's like, no, he gets like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep. Amaimon is the one I was thinking of, or Amaimon. Which I will say, I know you said it's a demon, like in deep demon lore, but my first thought was literally like, what is this Digimon ass name this guy has? Like, what?
Yeah. Amalyamon, Digivolve to Mechaguru Amalyamon, go! Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. I'm like, what? What are you?
Wow, you might as well have just vomited. I'm a fucking nerd.
Oh, I love it so much. I don't know who Barfbat is, but that's my pick.
We just lost Nick.
Hard loss, you know. We were wondering who was gonna die first. It's Nick.
Oh no.
Nick went to purgatory.
Yeah. He's never coming back.
My boy. Oh well.
Yeah. Barfbat's a little
for name alone.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know about him. His name.
An honorable mention.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Hannah, did you say yours?
Yeah.
While we wait for Nick to come back.
I didn't say mine. I do really like Valifor's new version of his powers. It's so very cool. But I'm more interested in less about the power because we've seen it before, but more of Victoria's thought process of like how to get out of it. And like I'd be fascinated to see more loopholes of like trying to get out of Valifor's his hold on you basically, and like how that looks, because it's so interesting. I just think I think that's really cool.
Yeah. That's
Bernard said Nick got touched by End of Days.
Yeah, exactly.
Fran he said he went to the cluster room, and that is he was in the cluster room with us, and he is no longer allowed in.
Light went out in his cube.
Did anyone have Nick dies in the bingo? No, but maybe we should put technical difficulties as a free space or something.
No, don't jinx us with the technical difficulties.
Hey, there he is.
He's in chat. He's in chat.
He's coming
He
back.
said, "I'm in here in spirit and in chat."
Yeah.
He's trying. He's doing his best.
Well, while we're working on that, other than the powers, what about, we mentioned big potatoes, and it is one of the beautiful things about these series is you work your way up. We'll look at the classic example of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, lovely MCU. You work your way up. They didn't they didn't start too terribly small, but they work their way up in increments to a universe-shattering, thing with the fight with Thanos. And one of the big problems, and I had this as well, is you get fatigue after that. You move straight into the next phase of Marvel, and how do you go to Spider-Man in the neighborhood when you just did the whole universe? And Ward definitely suffers because of that power, that power creeping, and then you drop. And how do you do that again? It's really difficult. I think Wildbow had the good sense to not write Ward immediately afterwards. Probably was sick and tired of Worm at the time. So like you have a lot of space between that. But that is the natural progression of things. If things just ramp up and get bigger, and it's hard not to do that because you want an ultimate final conclusion to stuff. And it's hard to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
All of that to say, what is your big potatoes? What do you think the big potatoes are going to be in this?
I mean, that's the question.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff still cooking, so
for sure.
Kind of wait and see.
I mean, we've talked about war. We've talked about the machine army. I think those are two pretty big ones that'll come, but it feels like war isn't big. Like, in my mind, we have to match Gold Morning, which was just true devastation. And so, like, what would that be, on that level? And so, like, I think the machine army is definitely a possibility in the future. I think the whole because we've seen the end of the Endbringers, as it were, ish, but we don't really know what's happened to them now. Are they just in a comatose state somewhere? Are they just like in a locker? Like, we don't know. And we do know from the end of Worm that there was some weird shit going on with the Simurgh and a baby, and that was weird. And I don't feel like we've seen the end of shit like that. Because we can't forget the thing that started us all off, which was the weird fucked up triggers and people having trees growing out of their faces. Like, we're seeing a system that's broken, and how does that continue? And I think that it's just gonna compound on itself, and I'm super excited to see what that looks like, because you guys know I love Bonesaw. I love the weird body horror creepy shit, and then I'm also just obsessed with the Endbringer. So like I'm not done with the Simurgh. I want to see more of her, and I think that there's a lot more. Like, I think things can get a lot shittier and a lot creepier in terms of just everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're touching on exactly what the comments are saying. Not So Certain says we've got more than power creep. We've got creep, like weird creep. And then Beefaroni prefaced that as creep, which is hilarious to me. That's pretty much what you're asking for. So there you
go.
I'm ready.
Nick
any other prediction?
Nick is in a Discord trying to update Hellscape, where it's failing to update and not letting him launch Discord, so he can't come back. So he really was banished.
Pour one out
for
Nick.
Shadow Realm.
Any more predictions? Dangerous Misfit in our therapy group, like what's going to happen next now that the betrayal of the speedrunners has happened. Any other vibes?
It's I have nothing for predictions. Like I could say anything, and they'd be just as valid as any other.
Well, y'all called it last time. I do remember you saying this, and Bernard pointed it out that you were like, "Man, somebody's gonna die. It's probably gonna be Snag first, because like he just has I just want to die already
you guys
energy."
Did call that.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. All right.
That's great that y'all remember, because I don't remember that shit.
That's why.
This is why you guys are all here.
Yeah.
This is why Bernard is here to remind us.
For sure.
Okay. Next death will be.
Oh yeah.
Just like manifest it. I don't want to
Cradle.
jinx it. I was gonna say something funny, but then I was like, okay, if I just jinx it, I'll hate
I think
myself.
it's
I
Cradle.
feel like Tattletale. And then
Don't say Tattletale.
Tattletale
No.
No, well, are we talking about death of the cluster or death of people we love?
I was just thinking death in general. Just was predicting the next death. But
I mean, technically, it was Bob first, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we did.
Apparently, we also predicted that, maybe, according to Bernard. But
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't remember that shit.
But we'll take it.
Who do you think next in the cluster then?
Next in the cluster, Cradle. I think.
Great,
yeah, I think Love
Lost will be last.
Yeah, she has the most
anger.
Yes, the most anger. I think even if you take out the kiss kill, she lost a daughter. Like that is a kind of loss that you don't easily just move on from. Like you don't just forgive your way through it.
Yeah, it is the reason they're all doing it too. Like
yeah, I think so.
All right. Honestly, I think the therapy group question probably remains the same, different.
Well, okay. Just new. I'm not gonna say theory, but new thought. We know that Chris is sussy wussy. We know this. He doesn't want to answer questions. He's a sussy wussy baka waka. He doesn't want to answer questions. We kind of glossed over it in Snag's interlude, but when they come across him, Chris, in the building, and he's kind of like hovering over, squatting over, sitting on, I don't know, some of the other villains. There's kind of this moment of like, Chris, you're supposed to be waiting in the trees, buddy. What you doing? And it feels very much like a like he's trying to prove himself, but he's not necessarily following orders, and is kind of like going on his own, maybe potentially doing some things behind the group's back that we don't know about. And it makes me wonder what else he's doing behind the group's back, because he doesn't want to be sidelined. He made that very clear. Victoria wants him in the background with Kenzie because of he's younger in the group, and we don't really know how his power works yet. It feels like, I mean, I think I said this before, Chris is gonna become a problem. He might be becoming the problem now. We'll see.
All right. Well, with that, I will let y'all know because it's getting late and I'm fading as well.
Yeah.
We get all the good questions at the end, so remember these for later.
Yes. And these are great because we will next week, we don't have our episode. We will be reading. I'll get that reading list up to make sure it's just the next arc. But
6?
Next Tuesday we will be
Nick?
Oh,
Nick!
Hey,
Welcome back.
Summoned it back. Yeah, next week we will sorry. There we go.
Solid. Very nice. Very nice.
Next week for the patrons, we will be playing Quiplash, like worm themed Quiplash live. So be on the lookout for that link. Patrons only, and you can participate in
come
by
hang out,
submitting some questions, which y'all submitted a shitload of prompts for that.
Yeah, that's great.
We've got a bunch of custom prompts that we're going to be playing Quiplash with. If you don't know what it is, it's just like fill in the blank, so you can get the thing right. But yeah, it'll be live in a week from today, next Tuesday.
Yeah, same time, same bat channel. As for our reading assignment, in 2 weeks, we will be reading all of Arch 6, or Arc 6.
Arch?
Pitch. It's only 2,000 words longer than what we read this week, so
the 8th of July will be our next live.
Yes, so 2 weeks from today, 8th of July. You're right. Yep.
Arc 6.
Perfect.
Whoa! Arc 7 is 4 chapters.
I'm looking at that. Sure
right?
looks like that, but it doesn't look. The number count doesn't look right, so
Okay.
I'm gonna double check that.
Oh my gosh, I just scrolled down a little bit and I just realized how long some of these are.
Yep.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yep. So all of 6.
They were so-
All of 6 next time.
All of 6
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
All of 6.
Yep. And on a final note, it is true that that banishment is a charisma save, and so don't forget to get points into that. Intelligence is a dump stat. We've always known this. All right. Well, it's been great. Remember, if you want to subscribe on our Patreon, little as $1 a month, you can join us for all of our fun things, our extra stuff we do, like the Quiplash we're doing next week. Otherwise, have a great evening, and we'll see you next time on the Brockton Bay Book Club. Good night.
Hi, friends.
Please come on and join the Patreon. Why don't you just join the Patreon? Come support us and join the Patreon. Please help us and join the Patreon. We have fun, join the Patreon. It's great, yeah, join the Patreon. Why don't you just join the Patreon? Come on, come on.
Hello, Princess. I noticed you haven't joined the Patreon. Daddy's not happy.
I can't get enough of that one. It's so,
So good. It's so good.
Good.
Oh, we love you. We love you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. If you're a Patreon, we'll see you next week.